Welcome, listeners of Illusion, to the Dungeon of Confusion. Come with us now as we spin you a tale to quicken the heart and chill the blood. But of course, you are not familiar with me or this place. Let me remedy such by stating my name is Archie McNeil, the co-writer of this tale with my friend and your dungeon master for the evening, Nikolai Popsky. Through the question of what if, we created this place with its melancholic overtones and hapless villagers. And we threw down the challenge to any and all who felt themselves brave or foolish enough to step up and experience what we have created, to truly open up the dungeon to the world and see who bit down on the bait. But now I hear a group of such brave fools at our gates. Time alone now will show the true motives of their hearts, for now it's time to raise their portcullis and open the dungeon.
Welcome to episode 3 of the Penance RPG Halloween special. This time, our podcast guests are the LovelyCraftians. So, without further ado, who are you, what are you in this sense, and tell us a bit about your podcast. Starting with Nessa.
I am Nessa Lupa, or at least that's the character I play. And I am an elf, and I'm an archer fighter. In our LovelyCraftians podcast, I play Rose. Rose Thorn.
Okay. Next we have Raciel.
Hi, I am named Raciel for this game. I'm a Tabaxi magician, and in LovelyCraftians, I play Ruby.
Okay. Next we have Stanbury.
Hello, I'm Stanbury Stan Torsten. I'm a dwarf fighter played by Cassie, who is the GM and master schemer for the LovelyCraftians.
Okay. And finally we have Vestile.
Hello, I'm Sade. I play Vestile. I am a thief elf. And in LovelyCraftians, I play Ambrosia Dubois, the book dealer.
Okay, so as we begin, you have all individually answered a plea written on a tavern wall in a very fine script by a very rich merchant. He's looking for a group to get together to go find his son, who has gone missing. So you all arrive at this tavern, and you're all, as soon as you arrive, you're all told to be seated at this particular table that he has booked for you all. So you're all sitting there, you have drinks and very happy, free tab and all that. And for about maybe half an hour, the merchant arrives, and he's quite a elderly looking elf. He's, elves live for a very long time, but he looks about middle-aged even for an elf. So he takes a seat and he greets you all and says, "Oh, thank you very much for coming along. I know that some of you are just, mercenaries, but times are short and I need to find my son."
Of course. Where was the last place you saw him?
Well, it's not that he's lost. I knew where he went, but I've not heard from him in a long time. You see, as I've said before, as you've probably gathered, I'm a merchant, and quite a wealthy one at that. I've been in this city for hundreds of years, and many, many coins have come my way, but I heard about this town to the north, Eisenport, and the people there apparently are covered in gold and wealth. It's a very, very rich fishing town. So, as any merchants would do, I, wanted to get a slice of the pie, as it were. So I arranged a group to get together, and I was going to travel myself, but then my son stepped forward and said, "Papa, I want to be the one that represents you in this town. I feel I've come of age, and I've learned all I can, being under your shadow." So, as any father would, I beamed and wished the boy well, and told him, well, you need to make a good thing, good impressions, and everything, and he left with the group, and he went north. He sent me some letters, but I've never seen him since, and his letters became more and more vague as time went on. His last one talked about marriage. He claimed to have settled down with someone and made a home for himself, but I thought last time one of the groups came back, I asked them, "Have you seen my son?" And the men said no, he wasn't there. In fact, he said there was no one anywhere in that village that belonged to our previous groups. And it was this point that I started to worry, and I sent more and more men, and I said, "Find my son." Some of the men came back, the others said they stayed because they really enjoyed themselves, but none of them had heard of my son, none of them knew where he went. And if anything, I'm at my wit's end. I need to know what became of my son, if he's moved on, if he's settled down and I'm now a grandfather, or what's become of him. Even if he's dead in a ditch, I must know.
Well, it doesn't really sound, from what you've said about him being so willing to go, that he would just up and disappear on you. So when was the last time you received a letter from him?
The last time I received a letter was about 5 months ago.
Can you tell me when exactly it started to change, get more vague? When it was more of his personality in it, I'm assuming, and then it started changing drastically?
Well, I have the letters here if you'd like to see them.
Yes.
Okay. This was the first one.
Well, someone's gonna have to read it to me, 'cause I can't read.
I can't read.
I'll read. Wait, I don't have any literacy, so...
I shall read. Thanks.
Only one of us has the power to read.
Well, obviously it's me.
That doesn't matter to me. If I can't kill it, I don't care.
Okay.
That's wonderful. First letter. Exalted Papa, I have arrived at Eisenport with the rest of the party to begin learning the trade in which you have earned your revered reputation. Truly, this tiny seaside village is a glittering gem, comparable to those that nestle in the glistening jewelry adorning every ear, wrist, throat. Even the shoe buckles, belt clasps, and other adornments are wrought from the finest goldwork, crafted by a gentleman called Anders, who is coarse but skilled. All the men have been welcomed warmly, given the best lodgings at the local tavern and the most mouth-watering delicacies to savor, along with the finest wine the region has to offer. The village is as pretty as a picture, and for all that it is a fishing port, it smells only of sweet pine, so evocative of our own Sylvian home. Here too, Eisenport has been blessed. Even the hardiest trawler working the richest seas cannot compare to the hauls brought by these women in their delicate skiffs. The women are industrious and pretty, and turn their hand to all labor, that the men may abide at home to do better to teach the children. An unusual arrangement, but one that appears to serve the town well. On the morrow, I seek an audience with the mayor of the place, and I will tell all I can of the matter. Until then, I remain your devoted son, Dorian. Seems like they're really nice there.
Really wonderful
Sound like someone
way
would
of...
leave.
Yeah.
I'm really liking this all matriarch community.
Same. And I very much like the way he talks. It's very nice. Well, writes, if you want to be specific.
Yeah.
I
But if
think
you
I'd
like the
be
way
fine
I
growing
talk-
old and fat.
Okay, yes, you talk very well. This is a wonderful writing. Also, just wonderful. Round of applause to the person that can read.
Yay.
Next one, please. Am I really the only one with literacy here?
Do I just?
Yes.
Can I just roll it, and then if I fail it,
Just read it. If you want a break from it, just read it. I'll understand. You can have someone whispering in your ear, telling you what it says.
Alright, I'll try to read this one
I'm
then.
gonna whisper in your ear what it says.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Revered Papa, this town is not without its mysteries. When meeting with the mayor of the town, called here the mother, progressed apace, with the same eager welcome extended to all, and he expressed fervent wish that we should stay if we could. Secretly, I believe they may wish us to turn our hand to their labors, as their own men refuse to do. I have spoken with Anders, the goldsmith, who is jealously protective of his craft. Here I have encountered the first obstacle in my quest to learn your trade. Anders will not sell his pieces for trade to other ports. Nor will he reveal the skills he uses in creating such wonders. I made it clear that a good and fair price would be paid, but the dwarf will not sell. In the typical stubbornness of his race, he muttered something, ooh, you heard that? He muttered something about a price already paid on the pieces. Such a cryptic nature will make him a challenge for any merchant. I hope to win him with the offer of haggling or trade, as well as Dawn's whisper charm. The charm is certainly working on the ladies of the town. Such hospitality and warmth I have known nowhere else, save in our own sweet dell. The ladies guard their jewelry with as much jealousy as Anders, but with infinitely more sweetness. This one will claim a piece as a birthday charm, another as a scholarly prize, another still as an heirloom, to the point that they, too, refuse to sell their pieces. The other offers we've had would overwhelm a lesser wealth. Such suggestions and flirting is to be remarked upon in a town with no sailors to welcome them, but such dawdle suggestions is firmly meant as simply high spirit. The maids here strictly observe the tenets of their faith and will not see much as being alone with a man in a room without first being wed. Such chastity couples with such flirtation can be distracting, but my heart is strong. I have come here to please you, Father, and Papa, and to give you pride, and truly this is what I shall do. Until then, I remain your loving son, Dorian. Okay.
Seems
Still
like you really liked it there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It still seems the same way of writing.
A little bit more in depth
Mm-hmm.
about the town. No, don't think you see anything suspicious yet. Should we look at the next letter?
Yes.
Okay, I will read this. Oh, this one is shorter. Papa, forgive the brevity of this letter and my absence from the returning mercantile party. A discussion was had, and it was believed that all of us had been away from our families too long. It did not help that the Eisenport women were driving the men to distraction. Even Beothin, with his beautiful young wife and 3 strapping lads at home, had had his eye linger too long on the Eisenport beauties. Luck was with us that only his eye wandered, and he may now look at Esria in the eye upon his return with nary a blush. Papa, I am not satisfied with Eisenport. That's weird. Said he liked it there. There's a great wealth to be had here, an oyster to be prized open. The rub is discovering where the best place to leverage. Until I advise otherwise, I remain as a trade contact in the north. All requests, reports, and other writings are to be sent on the fastest carriage or by falcon urgent. This pearl of a place will be mine. I remain your son, Dorian.
A little bit more to the point. Not sure why it's hasty.
I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that he says this pearl of a place will be mine.
It seems like a lot of temptation happening here in general.
I guess we should get to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, this one is very short. Father.
Should I do it? Or you want to do it?
I'm
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, you're the scholar. Please do go on.
I mean, not to brag. Father, I have ceased my trade in the north. What? I have made the decision to settle permanently in Eisenport. I have found the bride, Milia, and asked for your nuptial blessing. I hope we'll be as happy as you and mother were, and hope to raise your children as you have raised me, strong, wise, and full of hope. Dorian.
And he had said that he had checked Eisenport and he wasn't there?
As I said, I've sent many men. None of them seem to have heard of my son, and those they have asked seem to be oblivious of his nature. They've never heard of him.
I'm wondering if he changed his name.
I mean, it is a possibility.
Did you ask after his bride?
Yes, I've asked about this, Milia, and again, without a final name. And as much as I wish my son would follow the family name and name her Dome Whisper, apparently there's no need of her. no heard of her. Nobody knows who she is.
Well, it almost sounds like she doesn't actually exist. Are you sure that this came from your son?
Well, it came from a very fast courier who told me he'd been sent it by my son.
Can we check the hand comparison between
You can
letters?
if you want to roll literacy. Literacy or perception.
One. Okay.
You're convinced it's the same.
Okay. Jeez. It starts. Yep, it's definitely the same. Same hand. That's my perception there.
Can we talk to this courier?
Well, I don't really know who he was. It was just one of the couriers that comes from the city.
Where can we find them?
The couriers, well, I suppose they'd be down by the carts. It's most common where they come in from. As I said, if you would care to go to Eisenport and see if you can find my son, the cart is outside and it does end tomorrow morning. So any investigations you have, please, resolve them tonight so you can be on that cart. There's only one cart every couple of days.
How long does it take to get to Eisenport?
It takes about 2 days. It's usually an overnight stop somewhere, one of the 3 small towns on the way.
That's pretty close to be such a mystery.
Yes.
Well, I'm down. I shall be there in the morning.
I am for it.
Before you go, my friends, what payment would you like for this? 100, 200 gold, 300 gold? What is adequate for you? I want you to feel that you're loyal to my gold, at least, if not loyal to me. So I'm willing to pay you well. Please let me know what you'd want.
Well, I'm behind your cause either way, but I know that these few probably want some gold out of it.
Oh, indeed I do. About 100, 200 would be good. 200 I'm starting to settle on right there. I'll take that.
Right. Okay, well, how about we settle for 200 each, and if you could bring back any proof of my son, then I will give you more. Do you need anything else from me?
I would like to know, can you give us a description of the courier just so we can maybe interview him?
He was average height, he was elven, he had like brownish hair, that's all I really remember. It was tied up in a very unique plait, but again, many of my kind have their hair very like that. It could have been anyone.
What does your son look like? If you have a description of his character, or...
My son he's like myself. He's tall, quite sharp features, I suppose. He's got very blonde hair. But like all elves, we don't really grow much facial hair, so I suppose that's out. But he's got very long hair. He will always wear a medallion like this, and he shows you a medallion around his neck. It's like a sort of circle with cord wrapped around it.
What does that mean?
It's a symbol of my family.
I'm just furiously taking notes.
And if we were to find this on anyone, it would only be on your family, correct?
Well, it's passed down as a sort of paternal charm, as it were. It's when a man comes of age in our family, he gets given one of these.
Alright. Good to note.
Well, this is a good cause and it's good pay. Let's do this.
Thank you, my friends. As I said, the bar tab will come to go until the morning, but please be on that coach. And he walks out.
I wanted to ask if you could keep those letters.
Well, you read them. It's the same thing as memorizing them, right?
Well, this is true. I did memorize all 4 of them.
And all we really... Oh, okay. And all we really needed to know was that, like, there was a change of writing style, it sounds like. He seemed to get hastier as it went on. And the last one didn't sound like him at all.
Yeah, and he did stop, the endings that he had. Your loving son, your son, and the last letter didn't have anything at all. Like, he didn't even consider his son. But that's just speculation.
It didn't sound like him at all in the last one, but then again, to me, the hand looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
So, are you doing anything before sort of turning in for the night, or...?
Turning in for the night?
Yeah, Stan is gonna turn in for the night.
Okay.
I will be drinking.
Good.
I will be at the bar.
Okay, so the night continues long into the night. Some of you sit drinking, some of you just go and get early night sleep. The next morning, you all sort of sober ones drag the hungover ones to the cart.
I wasn't done with my cup!
Well, you are now.
So, you get bundled into this coach. It's empty, there's no one else going the direction you're going. And the sort of middle-aged He looks like a kind of half-elf kind of man, is the carriage driver. And he flicks his whips, and you drive off towards this very thick, dense forest.
So we're just in a cart. It's not like a full carriage or anything, right?
It's like a sort of quite large carriage in a way. It's not very comfortable inside, but it's got a roof on it.
So could I talk to the driver from where I'm sitting
Yes,
in the
you
cart?
can talk to him.
Okay, I want to lean over. Say, what do you know about Eisenport? Do you go there often?
I get paid to see nothing.
Well,
What if you got paid to say something?
He turns and looks at you and says, such as?
Do you want a couple gold?
He sort of
Do you want-
gives you a look of as he's not disagreeing.
How about some iron nails for your coach?
He sort of gives you a strange eyebrow raise and looks at you and says, I don't really need those.
Are you sure?
Well, my horses have been re-shoed recently, so I don't really need them there.
Well, okay. Well, what about just some decent conversation to pass the time, because this is going to be a long trip?
He sort of goes, And
All
said,
right,
what do you
I'm
want to talk
listening.
about?
I want to know more about Eisenport. Have you been there much?
He sort of goes, yeah, been a few times. Just, up and back. Me and Flash here. And he sort of taps the horse on the arse.
He's a good horse. Good horse.
Sturdy.
So, have you noticed anything weird about this place that we're going? Have you heard any weird news? Like people going missing or changing completely?
A lot of folk that go up don't really want to come back. It's their choice.
Why do you think they don't want to come back?
Yeah, there's a lot of work there. They keep building ships every 6 months or so usually when they start building there's a lot of work going and a lot of people flood to there.
Are these just merchant ships?
Kinda. They just sort of... I've never actually seen one, I've just heard that they're getting built.
Like clockwork? What's happening to the old ones? Did they need so many new ships all the time?
It's on the coast, so I assume they just, sail off into the distance and then they build another one. Never really asked that. Never really came up. There's a lot of fishing boats up there, I know that, but... And he sort of shrugs.
Interesting.
Do people often change their name when they go there, when they start settling down?
Never really asked, to be honest. None of my, patrons, I guess you'd call them, that have taken the ride up over the years or so I've been doing it. None of them have changed their name, but then again, very few of them have came back, and I've never really had conversation with them. I'm just paid to drive the cart there and back. That's it.
you don't seem to ask a lot of anything.
Well, I get paid well just to sit here and shut up, really. What a cushion. It's quite comfy.
Nice. Anything to make the job go easier, huh?
Yeah,
Do we get paid the 200 gold, or is that afterwards?
you get paid 50 gold up front.
Alright, I will give him 2 gold to tell more.
He pockets the 2 gold and says, so, what do you want to know?
So, they pay you a lot to not say anything. What specific things can't you
Well-
normally say?
The city pay me to, ferry post back and forth, but sometimes a courier. Sometimes it's just transporting goods, but I'm just paid to keep Flash here comfortable and, make sure he gets fed at every stop and make sure no one, bothers him. But apart from that, it's a very easy job. You see a lot of the outside.
Do you remember a courier that came not a few months ago, told to be sent in haste?
I get about 4 carriers a month. They know anything better, don't see anything, they don't talk to me. I don't ask.
Very suspicious courier we have on.
Indeed.
So, you saying anything else to him or asking him anything else, or is he just gonna drive on to the next village?
I have a question.
Yes?
So, have you had any trouble getting from where you picked us up to the other town?
Not so much trouble. The women can get a bit frisky, but I've learned from that.
Whoa.
I spoke to a wizard and asked the best way to answer that. And he told me, tell them you're a eunuch. So I do that.
So if they're frisky, I've heard they're pretty chaste. So which is it?
Oh,
Are they
in
just
Eisenport,
teases?
in Eisenport, they're total flirts, but If they don't think you're staying, they don't bother with you. The other towns, however, the things I've been offered.
Good times.
Well, at least for him.
Yeah. So they get frisky if they don't think you're staying.
They get frisky if they think you're
Yeah,
staying.
they get frisky if you think. In Eisenport, they get frisky if they think you're staying. And and I've watched countless men get led on, and just as they're about to lean in, she points to her finger and says, "Nah, no with her ring."
Interesting.
They're terrible flirts up there, but their society's thriving. Don't know what they're doing, but the society's thriving.
Does it always thrive like that?
They've always been quite rich, I guess, but the amount of fish they bring in, they must be. There's loads of fish coming.
They're a bunch of flirty fishmongers.
That was polite.
That was very polite. It could have been totally worse. Description.
We're just getting started. Give me a minute.
That's all the questions I have.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
No. On to Eisenport.
Okay. So, after about half a day's ride, you pull into a small town called Missenden, and the cart driver gets off and says, "I'm afraid Flash needs about 2 or 3 hours. He usually recovers after then. He has a sort of quick sleep and some hay. So, if you want to amuse yourselves, go ahead. I'll ring my bell when he's ready." And he shows you this quite large handbell he has, sitting on the edge of the cart.
What is there to do here?
If you look around, from what you can see, there's a rather large inn. There are they look like temporary housing, but they look like they've been there a very long time. And there's what looks like a sort of shop or sort of guild hall kind of thing, but it's been closed and it looks quite deserted.
Interesting.
And there's also a couple of small lakes and stuff, but they're sort of scattered around.
Well, there doesn't look like there's much to entertain here.
I want to go to the inn.
Yes, I would do the same. This doesn't look like any partying is happening.
Maybe you can get some food.
I am hungover. Let's get some food.
Preferably something heavy and greasy.
Oh God.
So you're going into the inn?
Yes.
Okay. You go into the inn. The inn is relatively busy, not too bad. But there is about a 60-40 split, women to men. And the men that are here seem to all have women around them, kind of thing, rather than being on their own. And the men here are quite obviously like tree fellas kind of thing, like foresters. However, they're not the typical size you'd expect a forester to be. They're not the big, brawny, beefy kind of men. They seem quite scrawny, like maybe just about normal size, maybe on the thin side.
So are they really the foresters, or are the women the foresters and they just kind of hang out? We might have to ask somebody that.
So there's a barmaid, and there's some stairs leading up to a couple of rooms. What do you do?
Are there any empty tables that we can sit at?
Yep, there's at least 1 or 2 empty tables, but as I said, it's relatively busy, but not too bad.
We'll take a seat on one of the tables.
And I will follow.
Okay, so you take a seat and the barmaid comes over and says, "So, where are you from?"
Oh, just the town over. We're headed through. We're not staying.
Oh, right, okay. You working, lads, or?
Of a sort.
Manner of speaking.
Kinda.
Fair enough. What can I get you then?
Nessa, would you like to order first?
How about a big, giant stew with a ton of carrots?
She you see her sort of scribble something on a parchment, says, "Alright, anyone else?"
Cheese and bread.
Alright, anyone else?
I'll take some bread and some ale.
Alright, and lastly?
What specials do you have today?
Well, we've probably got some fish.
Anything else?
I'll see what's there. And she sort of waddles behind the bar, comes back up a couple of minutes later with the rest of your food, and says, "Well, there's some stew, because I had to make some for your friend there."
Well, I will take some of everything.
She enthusiastically writes this down and then waddles off, comes back about 5 minutes later with a big plate full of it, well, big sort of board covered in everything.
I rub my hands together.
So, are you just going to be devouring food and then we go from there? Or are you going to discuss something while you eat?
Can we ask them about pretty much if the women are foresters? Is that what we're looking into?
You ask the barmaid and she says, well, some of them are, but the majority of the time we still get men down doing work. I mean a lot of them are a lot stronger than a lot of the women we have around here, but a couple of women do forestry now. We kind of need it because the last time someone came from, she sort of looks around and looks back to you and says, the town up north I'm not going to mention. They came down and they said there was lots of building contracts coming and all the men sort of went, great, and fucked off. And they left a lot of us alone with our children, saying they'd be back.
Rude.
Only to send us letters a few months later to say they'd found their true love.
Letters?
She spits on the floor and says, sorry, but I have no love for up north.
I could see why. How long has this been going on?
She gives you a sort of sour look and then says, at least a year. They come down every 6 months. They would have been due about now, but surprised they haven't been one yet. They must be waiting for the spring.
Why would they be waiting for spring? Just to get super
They have 2
steady?
times a year they usually recruit workers. Usually it's around spring and about fall.
Do any of these workers come back, or is it just they're gone because they found their love or whatever?
Usually they come down, they get in the ear of some of the men and tell them that, riches await you in the golden north. And then the men go, but my family are here, and they tell them, oh, you can send your gold back to them while you're away or you won't be away long. And then they go, and they don't come back.
And this happens to every man that goes up there?
Few have came back, but if they've came back, they've left with their family.
So they don't stay?
No, they go where the work is, and there's less work here than there used to.
Do you think it could be magical? Like they're doing some sort of weird spell?
I don't know much about that. I'm common folk. I know nothing about magic.
Has anyone ever, that has left, told you anything suspicious or weird that happened before they left?
I've only just propped up grieving widows. Nothing else. There are too many of them that are desperate to get by at the moment. Further
Grieving
men have
widows?
shacked them up and then left. Yeah. Like her, for example, and you see one woman sort of very delicately walking down the stairs, like she looks like very, very rough, and she's sort of relining her jaw. And she gets to the bottom and she pulls out what gold she's just made and puts it in the bar. And then slugs back a very large tankard of ale, and then sort of sits very gingerly on a chair next to the bar. And a couple of seconds later, a very contented looking forester sort of whistles down the stairs and then walks back out, heads outside.
Oh, that poor woman.
So she was one of the ones whose husband left her?
Yeah, left her and her son.
And he left her for the north?
We don't know. He sent her a letter saying he'd found his true love in the north. He was gonna get
All
married.
these letters.
He even sent her ring back.
Well, that can't be legal.
What is legal?
Maybe it can.
Oh, maybe we should try talking to her.
You can talk to her if you want.
I'll let one of the ladies go talk to her.
Yeah, but you can and I kind of nudge Stanby in the side, charm her with your manly wiles.
I don't know about that.
Well, if I go...
I don't know.
Come on. And I nudge him a little bit harder.
Stana's getting visibly flustered at this point.
I'll go.
Okay. So, what are you gonna say?
Hey, sweetheart.
She looks up at you, her eyes are incredibly bloodshot, and she goes, uh-huh. Are you hiring for your friend?
Oh, no.
If you are,
no.
I need, 5 minutes just to settle.
Oh,
She sort of does a grin, and she's up missing one of her front teeth. She's a very, very shaky grin.
No, we're not hiring you. We just want to make sure you're okay.
She has got quite a physical tremble about her.
Oh, I'm not very good at this, but if they get too rough, you can just grab them by the balls and twist them.
You'd be surprised how many of them are into that.
Oh boy.
Would you like to come sit down with us and we'll pay you for your time. Just so, you don't have a customer miss or wasting your time. We would like to ask you some questions.
She sort of blinks and looks at you, and her eyes narrow, and she goes, "What about?"
Well, you're a widow, right?
Who told you that? Have you been speaking to my son?
You have a son.
She again narrows her eyes at you and says, "Yes."
Well, I'm not interested in getting you into trouble. We just would like some information that we would be very helpful to our cause.
She nods and gets up again very shakily on her feet and sort of hobbles her way over to your table.
Would you like some food? I have plenty of stew.
She basically grabs the food and starts gobbling it up.
All right then. And about some more ale.
So basically for the next couple of minutes she's like shoveling food into her mouth and drinking all that you offer her. It's like she hasn't eaten in days.
Well, there's plenty here, so eat up. By all means.
So once she's stopped like gobbling food down, what do you want to say to her?
Can we ask her about her husband? Oh wait. Yeah.
You can ask
Someone
her, yeah?
Would someone take over? I don't know how to deal with matters as this.
Dear, I'm sorry what has happened to you. Heard some things. I'm not going to say who passed the information down, but it seems like you've fallen on some rough time. And we just wanted to know if there's any way we can help. In general, it sounds like several other men have fallen victim to what has happened with yours, where he goes up north, he doesn't come back, and he says he finds his true love, or finds someone else and settles down, or...
She again narrows her eyes at you and says, "Why, has your husband gone as well?"
Not mine, I'm not married, but I've heard of several other men that have mysteriously done the same, but not in person, always through letters.
Yes.
We're actually looking for somebody who has also similarly disappeared.
My husband did that. He sent me a letter. Couldn't read it, but the barmaid read it for me. She told me what he said. His true love in the golden north. Men.
We're all just a bunch of bastards.
She sort of shoots you a glance of just, ugh, and then sort of looks at the rest of you. Anything else you want to ask her?
What does he look like?
Who?
Your husband.
Oh, Thomas was tall with long brown hair and quite muscular. He had very startling, like, he had green eyes, but you'd see them in the night, they'd shine. And you notice at this point she is beginning to tear up, and she sort of looks at you all and then sort of seems to snap out in anger and say, "I don't want to talk about him."
I'm so sorry, dear.
I might regret asking this because you're already distressed and I don't want to make that worse, but what was your husband leaving to do?
She sort of sniffs really loudly and says, "He was told that he would earn far more money helping to build ships. He would earn 4 times the money he earned here.
Did he send you?
He was even given a bag of 200 gold just for accepting the deal. That's why we were able to live comfortably for months, but the money is ran done and things we have to do now to get even close to that."
When did the money stop coming in from him? Was he continuously sending you money, or did that never happen? Well, that won't do. We've got to find this man and drag him back.
Agreed.
Doubly
You can't
agreed.
just abandon your family like that.
Would you like me to cut off his balls?
She just
That was direct.
she just sort of looks and goes, "Just find out what happened to him. If you come across him, find out what happened to him."
What was
We'll
his
do our
name?
best.
Thomas.
Was there a last name? Or just Thomas? I feel like asking for Thomas in a sea of men who have been abducted is gonna make our search a little difficult.
We assume abducted. Could be
You
magic.
would know him. He has a tattoo in his left arm. It's like a sort of green triangle.
Very helpful, thank you. Well, I think we can look for him while we're out there.
Okay, is there anything else you want to ask her?
Is there anything else that we can do for you?
She shakes her head and looks around the room. You notice that across the bar there's another forester sort of winking at her, and you hear her groan slightly and then get back to her feet and turn
Wait.
to say, "Yes."
Here's 10 coins. I don't know if this will help, but maybe you don't need that customer if I give you this.
She looks over and she notices that guy has also taken out 10 gold and sat it on the bar in front of him and is grinning. And she's just turns to you and says, I need all the help I can get at the moment.
Alright, well, just bite the balls, Bite the balls if they get a little too rough. And here's 10 gold coin.
But they might be into that.
Yeah, seriously.
Bite hard till you get blood.
Whoa.
I don't know. He looks like he's into that.
She turns to you and says, a lot of foresters like it incredibly rough. Some of them even really like to be cut open.
Jeez.
They say
what?
it's the manly pursuit. Don't ask. The things I've had to do with an axe.
Oh.
Did you just say the thing she has to do with axe?
Yes, she did just say that.
I'm very concerned.
For the general population in general.
Yeah, we
For the
definitely need to
women.
get Thomas back.
Yeah, let's get Thomas back. Let's try to get Thomas back.
Okay, so she hobbles over, takes the gold and sort of disappears upstairs with the man. The barmaid comes over, takes your stuff away, takes a couple of gold off you for the food, and then that's you. So are you doing anything else in here before? Or is there anything else you want to do in here?
I wanted to ask somebody about the guild hall. Is there a forester nearby?
There's a couple of foresters sort of sitting around with groups of women around them, so you can ask one of them, or you can ask the barmaid.
Actually, I'll ask the barmaid next time she swings by.
So you ask her roughly, what is the building, and she tells you that when there was more work here, there used to be a very thriving, effectively like a sort of shop that would sell crafted wooden items. And it used to be sort of a side trade for, the labour would come here, some of the men would make ornate items and they'd sell them, and the men would get a little bit more gold, and it was a sort of nice little side project. But since all the trades died down, there's no need for it, so it's closed down. All the goods have been taken away.
Do you know who owns it? Or owned it when it was open?
She sort of thinks for a few minutes and says, I can't remember who owned it. I know Thomas worked there. Don't remember who owned it though.
Sounds like we need to find Thomas a little bit more.
Yep.
Alright, thank you.
She nods to you and then gets back to work.
I guess we go check. Well, he said he'd ring the bell when he's ready. I don't know, should we wander around a bit more and see?
Sure, I could go for a walk.
Same.
So
Yes, please.
You wander out of the inn. What are you going to do? Are you going to look at the guild hall? Are you going to look at the lake? Are you going to just wander? What are you going to do?
I would like to take a look at the guild hall.
I would like to come with.
Okay.
I'll do the same.
I'll go ahead and look at the lake. Just get some scenery going.
Okay. So you go and have a look at the guild hall. The guild hall is completely deserted. There are very old, ornate wooden shutters that have been closed over, but one of them sort of hangs slightly off and you can see directly inside. There's barely anything there. There's a couple of old barrels and boxes, but not much else. Are you going to go inside? Are you going to examine outside? What are you going to do?
I would like to go inside.
I would like to examine outside first a little bit more closely, if that's possible.
Yeah. You look around outside. There's a lot of... It seems like it was obviously well cared for and it was built with a lot of love. But it also looks like it's been closed and disrepair for about a year. It looks like it was painted, but the paint's beginning to sort of fade and chip off and fade away. It looks like all the shutters and the door, for example, are hanging slightly off. You can tell that it was made with a lot of love, as I said, but it's very much left in disrepair now.
Well, that's unfortunate. So I'm just kind of curious about if stuff happened in the town about a year ago, and this is clearly in disrepair for about a year. I wonder if it's linked in some way. Guess I note that in the mind brain before I walk in.
Okay. So you walk inside. Again, it's covered in a thick layer of dust. There's not really much here at all. It seems like it's, as I said, been completely stripped of anything of any kind of value. However, you do find lying in the middle of the floor a spoon.
Huh.
It seems, as you can see, kind of highly crafted, but very much made of wood.
Well, that's too fancy for my mouth.
I wonder if it was made for something.
Yeah.
Doesn't look quite functional, but it looks like it was meant to be decorative.
Think we should take it with us?
I think so. Is it just on the floor, you said?
Yeah, it's just lying discarded on the floor.
Yeah. I'd probably take it, maybe bring it back to town and ask if he knows what it is or what it was made for.
It looks like a spoon.
Yes, but
Pretty sure you can't eat with it.
Yeah, it looks decorative.
Too fancy.
As you pick up the spoon, you hear the door behind you open again, and a small child seems to be there, who walks up to you and says, "Excuse me, are you meant to be in here?"
We're not sure, but is this your spoon?
Oh, no. Would you like a basket?
Do you make them?
I make
basket?
baskets. He sort of shows you, he sort of opens a bag next to him, he's got all this like very fine, like thinly cut wood that he would be weaving. I can make you a basket if you like.
Can you make a tiny one?
He nods.
Alright, I will give you 3 coins.
He enthusiastically nods and sits down and starts weaving this small basket.
I think you severely overpaid on that basket.
I do not care.
I mean, we only have so much gold. I'm not there, but this is just the voice of your conscience speaking.
I think his mother is upstairs. I'm not even going to finish that. I just want to make sure that, you know...
How do you know it's that kid?
Yeah, like there's kids around here.
Yeah.
Are there other kids, kid?
We haven't talked to everyone, we just talked to 2 ladies.
He looks up to you and says, "Huh?"
Kids make me nervous.
Where's your mum?
Oh, Mummy has gone to work giving special cuddles. Go find yourself a job. And he nods as if that's a sentence he's been told to memorize.
See? 3 coins, and everything's going to be alright.
So your mom
take
told
the
you
wallet
to...
from her.
I would not mind doing that, by the way. But yeah, so your mom told you to get a job?
Mummy told me I need to not give baskets for free because strangers steal.
She is right, indeed. So it's wise that you made a craft for yourself and you're selling it. So keep doing that and you can make a lot of gold.
I once took beans instead and they hit me. So I've not to take beans again.
Who hit you?
Well, Mummy told me I wasn't to give away big baskets for beans. Because beans are not very important, especially even though I'm told they were magical. There was only 3 of them, and that's not enough for a basket.
Do you still have those beans?
He shakes his head and sort of points out towards all the other houses.
They're at home?
Someone...
They were thrown out the window, and Mummy yelled at me. So I have not to sell baskets for less than gold. Gold is what Mummy wants me to bring home. Not beans. Not beans. Never beans. Not beans. No.
You know, she only yelled at you because, you know, she worries about you. And I pat him on the head.
He nods very quietly and goes back to his basket.
Wait, who gave you the beans for a basket?
It was a woman who came down from Eisenport.
A woman from Eisenport gave you beans that she said were magical?
She said, "That's a pretty basket. I will give you some magical beans, and then you will grow up, be big and strong, and then you can come work for me." And I said, "That's nice. I will make you a basket."
She said that you become big and strong with the beans, or?
He sort of looks very puzzled. He's not sure.
Did she tell you how the beans are magical?
No. I didn't ask. She just said they were magical.
I don't know, guys. Maybe we should try and find these beans.
How long ago was this?
He sort of goes, 7 months.
So it's a plant now.
Probably.
No, I weed Mummy's garden. Well, the small patch of grass I get told that I need to keep tidy so that our house doesn't look uncomfortable for when Daddy comes home. And Daddy is coming home despite what Mummy says.
She threw it out 6-7 months ago. Do you remember where she threw it out?
He shakes his head.
Well, guess those beans are lost.
Or we can ask her where she threw them, if she even remembers.
At this point, you hear a bell ringing outside, and the little boy offers you a very small basket.
Oh, thank you, dear.
I give him 1 extra gold piece.
I also give him 1 extra gold piece.
Okay. So,
Keep the change, kid.
What I'll do is I'll cut to Stan, who was at the lake while you were all there. So, what do you want to do at the lake?
Do I notice anybody out, like, fishing or on the shoreline at all?
There doesn't seem to be anyone, though. The fish seems sluggish.
Unnaturally sluggish, or just, like, cold weather?
As in, you wave your hand above the water, and the fish take a couple of seconds before they dart away. So either they're really used to people, or they're very sluggish.
Can I grab one?
Roll.
Oh,
Yep,
19.
You dive your hand in and pull it out. You grab one of the fish. You just hold it in your hand. It flops, but it doesn't feel like it's fully alive, if you know what I mean. It feels like it's quite deadened, even though it is reacting.
I'm gonna keep it and take it to Rayceal, who might know more.
Okay.
Or anybody who happens to be really good with animals in our group.
I have...
No metagaming you.
You have one of you that's good at animal handling, but you've got 3 of you that have got nature points, so yeah.
Oh, I guess I do have nature on that too. Alright, can I roll a nature and see if I can figure out what's wrong with this thing?
Yep. It doesn't seem poisoned, it doesn't seem like diseased or anything, but it seems like there must be something in the water that's not right.
Is this a large lake? Can I see the end of it?
It's quite a small, there's a couple of very small lakes that are about this one's probably about maybe 4 meters across.
Does it look like it's connected by any streams or anything?
There's a small channel going between this lake and the next one that seems to have been like handmade. It's got sort of wood along the edges. And that lake is about 3 meters wide, and it's more circular. But again, every fish in that just looks quite sluggish.
I wonder how long they've been sluggish. Is there anybody that I could, like, stop and ask?
There were a couple of women walking around, that are sort of walking between the inn and the housing.
Excuse me, ladies. I have a quick question for you, and I'm holding out the fish like that's some sort of signal to them.
They look at you like, oh god, here's the nutcase coming to talk about fish. But sort of slow down as in, yes.
That's a fair reaction, but how long have the fish been like this? Do you guys eat these fish?
One of the women goes, you don't eat the fish anymore. You get the runs.
Since when? When did that start happening?
The other one says, about 8 months? Yeah, about 8 months.
Did anything change that would make the water gross for these fish?
The water got darker, but we just assumed it was, lichen or moss or algae. Usual things that come with the year.
Well, I'm just gonna put this fish back because I don't want it anymore.
So you're gonna put a dead fish back, are you?
Is it dead now?
Well, you've had it in the water for a good couple of minutes.
Okay, no, that's fair.
It's not dead.
Okay, what do I want to do with it? Yeah, I'm gonna toss it back in the lake and let the lake deal with it. It's not gonna get worse than it already is, so...
Okay.
Dead if you do, dead if you don't.
You sort of pitch the fish back into the lake as you hear the bell ringing for the cart.
I'm gonna wipe my hands furiously on my pants and then walk over.
Okay. So the rest of you greet Stan as he walks back over, he stinks very strongly of fish.
Well, don't
What
you
happened
smell
to you?
wonderful?
I grabbed a fish out of the water with my bare hands. It
That's
was
fantastic, but...
It was a disgusting fish. I think something's wrong with this water. I mean, I can't go get it because I already threw it back, but they were all really sluggish, so sluggish that I could grab it out of the water with my bare hands. And I stopped some ladies on the sidewalk and asked, and they were like, no, don't eat that. You'll get the runs. And they've not been able to eat the fish for about 8 months now. And the water got all black and weird.
Magic beans and sluggish fish.
Magic beans?
Yeah, I think we talked to the kid of the woman we were speaking with back at the inn, well, at the restaurant, tavern, and she said that, well, he said that he had been traded magic beans for a basket he made from one of the women up north, and she threw them away, though, so that's unfortunate, we can't track that, but apparently, not sure if that's around the same time. Did anyone specify how long the lake's been like that?
Yeah, about 8 months.
He said about 7 months.
Yeah, but he is a kid.
Yeah, like so
They're
it could
close
be
enough together.
Yeah. So I think that might be an interesting clue there.
Did the magic beans do anything?
Not that we're aware of. She threw them away, but she found
Did
out
she throw them in the lake?
He doesn't know. He just said that she threw them away. She isn't sure where.
Where'd the beans come from?
A woman from the town we're heading to. Really bad at remembering names. Sorry.
Eisenport.
Eisenport.
Dan is starting to clench his fist when he says it because he's not all that enthusiastic about what he's heard about it so far.
Yeah, so a woman from Eisenport apparently came down and she told him that one day maybe when he grows big and come up there one day, which is very ominous in my opinion to say to a child, but it's okay. In context, anyway, on our end.
So, are you wanting to do anything else before you leave this town?
No, I think I'm good.
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
So, you bundle back onto the cart takes off, and it gets into sort of very late afternoon and very early evening, and you go over a small bridge, and you arrive in the town of Bishop under Puddle. Which is a very scarcely populated village, but what you do see is you do again see a lot more women than men. You see the odd man, but he's very much got his wife on his arm or a girl on his arm. There's never a man on his own, and you don't see like one or two men and a couple of women, it's always just a single man. If you see anyone, we're talking maybe about a 70-30 split.
Interesting, more women are going up.
So as you arrive in the town centre, there's a sort of plinth in the middle, which has got a crutch on top of it. It looks like a very well-worn crutch, and it's obviously supported something very heavy, and it seems to be made of like very light-coloured wood. But also in the town square you've got an inn, you've got a temple, and you've got again lots of generic sort of housing, stuff like that. But you've also got a very large lake.
Can we tell who the temple is to?
As you approach the temple, you see it's like up some stairs, and then you see a long flat floor, and at the end there's like it's like a plinth again, but there's a large statue too. Literally, it could be a very big statue of a dwarf, or it's a statue of a very, very fat man. You can't really tell which it is from this distance.
Okay. I want to go check that out.
I will go
Bet you
with
do,
you.
Stan.
Okay, so is everyone going to the temple?
I'm gonna go to the lake this time.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanna...
See if you can catch a fish with your bare hands.
And if I can, I will let you know.
I'm gonna go with Vestiel.
I bet you can't.
And now that Stan has said it, now I feel like I need to live up to that challenge. So.
We go to the lake first this time. You arrive at the lake. Are you going to examine it, or are you just going to try and catch a fish? Or what are you going to do?
I want to examine it first and see how big it is in comparison.
Okay, this is a massive lake. It's about a good 30-40 meters across. It's massive.
I don't know why this was a good idea, because I am scared of water.
The water itself seems brownish and quite murky. As in, you can't really see that far into it. You see shadows moving around in it, but it's not as clear as the lakes in the previous town.
I'm going to stand right over here and make sure I'm like several feet away. It's like, this is a good safe distance. I'm not going to go anywhere near that, but it looks kind of weird from what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Not good at all.
So, are you going to do anything else?
Hey, do you want to catch a fish?
Yeah, sure. Might as well.
Okay. You you see a couple of shadows that could be fish. Are you just going to plunge in and try and catch them with your hands?
Yep, I'm gonna roll up the sleeves of my robe, crack my knuckles, and just dive arm straight in there, because you just gotta go for things in life.
Okay, do a roll. Yes, you dive in, you grab a fish, you pull it out. Again, as before, the fish doesn't seem to react to it for a couple of seconds after you pull it out, like it's been stunned, and then very meekly flips a bit, and then sort of goes completely still. You look at your arms are now covered in this, like, almost black film, and you look across the water, and there seems to be a very thin layer of this, like, black film across the water.
This is disgusting. I, hold the fish in one arm and try and, shake the black stuff off of my arm.
Better keep that away from me. Can I look at it and, can I use a nature roll to figure out what that stuff is?
Yep. You're assured that it must just be, bad sewage, and that's what it was. It can't be anything else. I mean, what else is black around here?
I am very unsure of everything, but I say it with such confidence. I am pretty sure that's... You just put your hand in sewage.
I feel very uncomfortable about this.
I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
Maybe we should go back to the inn. I can find some place to clean up.
At least you can verify that it was kind of the same, and like a half-dead fish, for sure. You can either throw it back in, or you can bring it with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it with me.
Alright,
Okay.
we head back then.
Okay, then we'll cut to the temple. So, the temple itself is... It's made mostly of, stone, and it's got pews on either side, and in the middle, in front of this, as I said, this statue, there's a man on his knees looking like he's in prayer. What do you do?
I ask Stan if he recognizes the statue.
Good question. Should we ask Dicebot if I recognize this statue?
It would be a religion roll or a lore roll.
Well, may as well try the lore roll.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
very nice. After having come into town, you noticed the name on the plinth was St. Randolph's Crutch. And as you come up here, you recognise that this is also St. Randolph. And it seems to be a church that's tied into St. Randolph. You've heard a couple of people say about it in jest from the town you were in before, like the one you started in. You've heard a couple of people talk about St. Randolph in jest, but you don't really know who he is.
It's St. Randolph, but I don't know anything else aside from that. I mean, people have kind of joked about it, so he might be one of the lesser ones. Or they believe something silly, one of the two.
At this point, the old man who's kneeling on the floor turns and goes, "Ah, friends, have you come to join the pilgrimage?
Where are we going?
Oh, thank you, St. Randolph. You've sent me some followers. Yes, friends, come. We will bring forth your banquet. We will share it together.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Who is this St. Randolph guy? Just refresh my memory.
St. Randolph, are you not on the pilgrimage of St. Randolph?
Nope.
Not yet.
Oh.
Maybe if you tell us about him.
Oh, right. Okay. Let me do this properly. It's been a while. Right. St. Randolph, and he gestures with both hands very majestically at the literal fattest man you've ever seen, in a very wide-brimmed hat and a crutch under his left arm. And he goes, "This is St. Randolph. He's a deity of plenty. He encourages all his followers to get together and have feasts. We're all wonderful chums, get together. St. Randolph himself, I fully admit, is probably not the best role model, as he, ate all his supplies going up the mountain and died of starvation halfway up, but we can't pick and choose who's the best role model these days."
I mean, maybe not that one, but...
But he was an outspoken man, a very pure man.
What?
He didn't believe in the sex. No. And not just because he was so fat he couldn't actually, procreate. But let's not get into that. That's a personal detail.
That's semantic. Yeah, that's semantics. We don't need that.
Yes. It's a very personal detail between St. Randolph and, well, I suppose his mother was the only lady he was ever with. Let's leave it at that. But St. Randolph, he was this charming man. He promoted plenty and everyone should share their food. And when he would come into a room, he'd say, share, share, share the food. And he would, help his followers by eating all the food. And it was a great celebration of our time. And many of us, we go on the pilgrimage, which starts, some of us get off the boat in the north and come down here, and we have a small meal together. And then we all go to the mountain in the south, where admittedly it took us 5 weeks to get the statue of St. Vandolph up the mountain, but there is a plinth of him at the top of the mountain that's
There's
actual size.
So, when you say share, did he share with his followers, or did he just take what the followers offered?
Oh, he always had a small bag of nuts he used to share with everyone.
So you got bar peanuts in exchange for food.
They were good quality nuts. None of your, cheap stuff, I hope. I never actually tried any. He never gave me any. But no, he always had a bag of nuts, and he was always happy to share. And anyone that had food, he was happy to share with them.
Oh, so you've met him?
Well, I was a very young man. Very, very young man, in fact. I was still in my teens, and I've had a fair few summers, shall we say.
So what did he believe in exactly, aside from eating a lot?
He believed in plenty. He believed in, that the best and happiest people around were those who ate and drank and had good friends and good company.
All right, I'll agree with that. I'll concede that point. That's all great stuff.
Was there stew?
Oh, there was stew, there was steak, there was animals of all kinds, and vegetables, and birds, and everything you could possibly imagine. And it was shared equally amongst every type of people. Never was there a delicacy Sir Randolph would not eat.
So, you need followers? Because you looked really surprised to see us.
Well, it's not so much we need followers, it's just my faith has been questioned as of late, since the lake has become so disgusting, and I need to know that people still believe in St. Randolph and believe in, supporting each other, whereas I fear that the world is becoming a dark place that I don't want to be a part of.
Well, I'll agree that we all should be supporting each other. We definitely should. How long have you been here?
80 years?
Oh, wow. So you grew up here?
Well, I grew up in Mistleton, but I basically came here on the pilgrimage when I met St. Randolph when he was on his way to the mountain. And I remember the last words he said to anyone of this temple when we had it built for him. He said, "Fetch my cart and fetch me my lunch. I go now to prove a point to that bastard that I can climb the fucking mountain."
Which bastard was that?
I don't know. I think it's a biblical thing.
Okay. May I ask you about the lake?
Of course.
Well, when did it start getting...
About 8 months ago, I think. It began to get very dark, and we'd had this person, you see, a couple of months before it came down from Eisenport and said that they wanted to dig a canal that would combine ourselves and Limestock Bay and Missenden, and it would be like one big long canal system. We'd get trade a lot faster because we could get boats down it, but we've always felt that, the Puddle Lake has been part of St. Randolph's legacy, and to taint it by attaching it to other lakes would just be wrong. It wouldn't feel right for us to do that, so we declined, but it seems we were the unpopular ones. It seems that both Missenden and Limestock Bay were all for this canal system, but we stuck by our morals and said that, Lake Puddle is a holy lake. It should not be combined. And then several weeks later, this problem started.
Seems like someone poisoned it.
Well, the fish are still edible. They just require a lot more work.
I mean, technically edible.
Well, when we first found out the numbers that were ill were many. It was our first feast. It didn't seem to go very well. Many people were poisoned and ill for many weeks.
That is
However,
unfortunate.
now we know that it was the fish that did it, and we know that only certain parts of the fish can be eaten.
Which parts of the fish can you eat?
You can still eat, the tail, obviously, because it's, not very much there. And the head, surprisingly. But you need to take the eyes out. The eyes are very, very poisonous.
The gross parts are left.
Whatever you do, don't eat the guts. They are very, very, very unwell.
Oh, don't worry. I grabbed a fish out of a lake further down, and it was disgusting. So I'm not putting that in my face.
With my bare hands.
With my bare hands. So, who was this person who came down and told you that they wanted to build the canal?
Oh, I never met them personally. I had a representative from the town come talk to me, one of the men folk before he left. He came up and he said that, we're a fishing village, and if we want to get, boats and everything sorted, we should agree to this trade deal. And me and the other monk, God rest his soul, were here, and he told them no, and I agreed that no, it's a holy lake and it shouldn't go anywhere. Whereas this man didn't seem to appreciate this, and although he accepted our decision, he left in quite an anger.
Alright, 2 more questions for you. When did the other monk pass? My condolences, by the way.
Oh, it was a very surprising accident. He was praying, and the statue of St. Vandal fell on him.
This is a pretty sturdy statue. I don't think that would
that's
just
what we
happen.
thought, but it surprisingly seemed to just slide off the plinth and on top of him. But none of us were here. We came back to find him crushed, and it was a shame. I had to get half the village to help get the statue off it. It's very surprising, but, that I guess it's how he wanted to go. Sudden.
Crushed under a statue?
Well, crushed under the might of our Lord.
I don't think that's... His guts would have come out his butt, for sure. I don't think that's any way to go.
Oh, he was quite far spread across the floor, shall we say.
I'm not laughing at that, I'm sorry. So, this representative from the town who disappeared after he went to work there, he never came back. Did you know who he was? Or was he just a random
He was one of the young lot, the Bolshe ones. I don't remember their names. They were, I don't want to call them famous, because they weren't really, but they were one of the sort of best fishermen in the town. They used to catch several hundred fish, in a month, and they would be the ones that, would make the most money. But they long went. They went up north for chances of building things. They could offer far more money than we could ever offer them to stay here.
And they never came back?
Well, they never seemed that they wanted to. So most of them left saying, well, to be blunt, fuck this village.
Oh.
They called us backwards.
Well, I'm thinking that somebody poisoned your lake as a means to get you strong-armed into agreeing to their canal.
And I think someone murdered your monk.
Yeah. Have you ever felt unsafe? Have you ever worried for yourself?
Well, I only really try to get people to follow St. Vandolph and climb a mountain, so I don't really have much going for it. If you'd ever like to climb the mountain, it's a very enriching experience. There's a plinth that looks like this one, but it's an upper mountain.
You're really
nice,
selling
I suppose.
You know what? Maybe on the way back. We've got some business in Eisenport to take care of, and I might see if we can't pay a visit to your missing fishermen. See if we can't resolve your canal issue and unpoison your lake one way or another.
That would be very appreciated, thank you.
If you ever do feel unsafe, just, punch him in the balls if you get attacked.
Just don't. Just go up the mountain, and I don't think they'll follow you.
Well, the mountain is quite a hardiest trek. I don't think I can manage it at my age, but thank you.
Well, I mean, it's better than getting crushed under a statue.
Well, as I said, it's a very large statue, and after the monk died, we did attempt to see if we could replicate what happened, but even with 15 men, we couldn't push that off the plinth, so we don't really know what happened. Maybe he leant on it somehow, I don't know.
We should bring our magic friend over here to see if she could maybe test it and see what she finds.
Do you want me to go get her?
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
All right, I'm gonna go get her.
So we have musical cutscene while you go and get her. And there we go, I'm back. I brought a friend. Is she coming to do the pilgrimage?
No, none of us are, but maybe on the way back.
Am I here too? I think I'm here too, right? Like, I wasn't just forgotten at a lake. That's my deepest, darkest fear.
Did you follow her?
I mean, she was with me at the lake. I wasn't gonna grab a fish with my bare hands.
Coward.
Jeez.
I don't like water.
All
So
right.
yes, I am here. I followed.
That was a very roundabout way to answer that question.
I am here.
So, this monk got crushed under the statue, which, as you can see, is gigantic. Not this monk, this one's obviously alive, but the other one passed away fairly recently-ish. So, it only happened after they refused a canal deal with Eisenport. And that's when a roundabouts that their lake got poisoned. We're thinking that some magic or something happened to help get the statue from where it's sitting on top of a poor monk. So is there any way we could test for this?
You could test Arcana?
Yeah.
Yes, you test the statue. The statue is completely solid stone. Not magical in the slightest.
Oh,
There's no hints of magic at all anywhere near it.
Could someone have used mind powers to push it? I don't know how this works.
no, it definitely wasn't magical.
Can I use perception on it to see if anything, like if it was moved suddenly, or like there's drag marks or anything like that that might seem suspicious?
You look around the entire statue, you can see a couple of scuff marks, and you ask a priest about him, and he goes, "Oh, that was from us putting it back on there. It's surprising how many men you need to have, like, standing around to lift the statue of St. Randolph."
You'd think with that many men standing around to get the statue onto the monk that he would have had time to flee.
Well, St. Randolph moves in mysterious ways, I guess.
Is there anything above the statue?
Not for, like, it's just the ceiling, but there's nothing there that could be generic ceiling, really.
Not just a pulley system that has been elaborately staffed up there.
No, nothing like that.
I'm not gonna get that lucky.
You sort of stand at the back of the temple and look out, and all you can see is the lake in front of you.
Well, all of this is pointing to Eisenport, so
I guess we should go.
Okay. Are you done in the temple, sorry?
Yes.
yes, thank you, sir. It was nice to meet you and learn about St. Randolph.
Well, if you ever change your mind and you want to go on the pilgrimage, just you know, come say hi and go up a mountain and use a crutch.
We'll hit you up. Wait, how do you use the crutch?
Well, he needed it because he was... I don't
He's
like
large.
saying this, but he was prone to falling over.
So the statue fell,
Oh no,
And-
St. Randolph himself was prone to falling over.
and the statue fell. He was prone to falling, and the statue fell.
Well, now you put it like that, maybe there is some truth in it. Maybe it was just one last trick of St. Randolph to fall upon the priest.
That's a mean trick.
He always did have a dashing sense of humor.
Maybe we just don't get the joke.
What is life
Yeah.
but a joke, my dear?
I'm starting to like this.
All right, we should get going.
Yeah.
And we'll hit you back up on the way back through.
Okay. So this is the night stop, so are you going to the inn to get rooms, or what are you doing?
I need to take a bath, so I'm going to the inn to get a room.
As you get close to the inn, two of the sort of girls outside the inn immediately take an interest in Stan and start walking over going, "Hi there. You'd
No,
love a
thank
night
you."
with us, wouldn't you?"
No, thank you. I'm
And
okay.
They begin like stroking your hair and like running their hands across. I imagine you've got a beard because you're a dwarf.
I've got some scruff rather than a full-grown beard, unfortunately.
Okay, well they basically like run their hands down your face and ruffle your hair and stuff and are very much like, "You just want a night with us, don't you? It's only like 5 gold a time."
No, I'm okay. I'm
He's-
alright. I'm a eunuch?
Oh, you're one of those. Ugh. And they sort of go, how can you live with yourself having them cut off? Ugh.
I mean, it wasn't my choice. It's a really long story. You don't want to hear it.
They both look quite disgusted, and then they sort of like look at the rest of you, sort of give you a once over to try and work out whether you're worth hitting on or not. And then they sort of decide no, and sort of wander off.
Jeez.
I was gonna say you could have been with me.
The two girls turn around and look at you and say, what, both of us?
I wasn't talking to you. Goodbye.
And they
You
both,
guys took the
they
first
both scowl your way and walk on.
I totally forgot, Stan, that our carriage driver said just to say eunuch. What I was trying to say is that I don't think they would have bothered you if I pulled out my dagger.
I'm okay just lying. I don't want to threaten them. Unless I have to.
Okay.
I don't think they have balls that you can cut off. You've been pretty keen to threaten those lately.
Yes. I have a friend who makes jewelry out of them.
Why?
Well, come on. It's like...
No. I won't. Is it both of them, like a set of earrings?
I don't know what she does.
Are they like
They're bracelets,
truck
of
nuts
course.
that
Like wrap them
sit-
around
Or does
you.
she get several and then turn it into a whole necklace?
Ew.
No, I think it's more of a decorative weapon.
What?
A decorative weapon.
It's a
I'm
set
very-
of bolas.
This conversation, man.
The logistics of this is bothering me. Let's have a drink about it.
So, you head into the inn. The barmaid, again, seems to sort of hint strongly to Stan that, you know, there are women here. You know, lots
I
of women.
noticed. Yep. Are you a madam? What is this?
So, she's very keen to try and, like, push towards, you know, if you're taking a room, that you might want a room with company, hint, hint. But I think that's just because they're trying to generate money.
And I gestured wildly to everyone in this park. Hey, hello. We're all rooming together, I'm assuming.
So, having failed to get you to take any of the girls, she basically sorts you out rooms for the night, and you go and crash out. The next morning, you wake up and you have breakfast, it's standard, and your cart is ready to take you to sort of the last part of the journey. You've got one small town to do a quick stop in, and then that's you at Eisenport. So, you begin to head off. Are you going to do anything before you leave?
Oh, so we entered the village during nighttime, right?
Yeah, you kind of got
So-
there about late evening.
So let's look at the lake in the full daylight.
In the full daylight, the lake looks incredibly dark and brown and murky.
Yep, that's a gross lake. That's grosser than the other lake.
It seems like it just, every time we get closer to Eisenport, it spells doom for lakes.
Or at least lakes that, I guess, aren't a part of their canal planning.
Okay. Anything else you want to do before you head off?
Nope, not me.
I'm okay.
I'm good.
So you leave Bishop Under Puddle and you head along a very straight road that sort of eventually curves round a sort of strange looking mountain and comes to immediately. When you get close to this one, you can smell, like, you know when you're in a mining town, there's a certain smell in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like that sort of smell mixed with rotting fish. And as you pull up in the town, again, the smell of fish is still there. And all you hear are several fishwives, like very, like, middle-aged, red-faced, like, blotchy, like very harsh voices shouting, "Fish! Fish!" There's an inn that looks again like it's fallen on really hard times, and there's not even houses but what I can only describe as hovels. And what women you do see walk around here, because it is only women you see walking around this town, if they're younger, they're looking like they are just walking between the inn and the limestone pits, but even the ones who you would say look youngest, who seem to dress like they're younger, even though they dress in, like, you know, workish clothes, they look like they've, you know, the spark of youth has left them, even if they are young. They look like they've been hard working for a lot of their lives. And the older ones all dress in these thick black robes and just walk around. They're not obese, but they're unshapely. And the smell of rotten fish just covers everything.
And I'm gonna puke.
And as the cart pulls properly into town and you get off the cart, you notice in front of you a gallows it seems to have someone hanging in the gallows. They seem to have been left there as a sort of tribute, effectively, like a sort of a warning to everyone. And above them is a nailed sign that says, "We will not abandon our gods." One of the arms seems to have been nailed to the sign next to it, and it seems to point along the North Road.
Well, I abandoned mine a long time ago, so...
Maybe we should just keep our mouths a little bit quiet about that, considering they hanged someone for it. Just saying. Unless that's what you're into, that involves. So...
Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet about that.
So are they near a lake as well?
Yes, there is a lake nearby. It's already... Even as you get remotely close, you see lots and lots of dead fish bobbing in the lake. And
Gross.
You see these women pulling the dead fish in and cutting the worst bits off and throwing them in a bag.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna eat that. No.
And as you get off, one of the women walks up to you and says, "You wanna buy some fish? Fish!" And she waves this fish in your face. The fish is obviously sick. The eyes are bulging. There's white flakes around the gills. It looks like it's just rotten, completely rotten, and it seems to be barely holding together as she's waving at you. "I got this morning! Only a gold! Have it! Have your breakfast!"
No, we've already had our breakfast of fish, but good job catching it. It looks like it put up a fight.
It did. It took me 2 hours to beat it to death.
With
Why?
illness?
Are you saying our fish aren't healthy? They're
Look at
very
that
healthy.
thing.
We all live on it, don't we? And a couple of others go, "What? I wouldn't eat her fish. Her fish stink. My fish are far better. Oh, fuck off."
Oh, you guys sound like you need
Basically started a
to
small
get them.
riot just from them trying to sell you fish.
Okay, in the hubbub, I'm gonna back away.
Back away! Back away!
Oops.
As the sort of hubbub's going, one of the other ones comes at you. "I've caught an eel. Do you want an eel?" And he sort of holds this, and it looks literally, you've never seen anything more disease-ridden. It's blotchy, it's patchy, it looks like it's almost been bitten by about 4 different creatures. It looks very diseased, and
That
she
looks-
waves it at you.
As delicious as that agent of pestilence looks, I think I'm gonna pass.
Hey, do you know what? It's an eel.
No, it's fine. It was a compliment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, your loss. It's a good eel. I'll be eating it tonight if you don't have it.
Well, I hope you enjoy it.
Make sure you cook it thoroughly.
Cook it? I ate it raw. We don't have
And
the
I'm not
firewood to cook
surprised.
things
And
anymore.
okay.
And on that note,
Just turn on my heels and head further in.
So, as you can probably tell, it's very obviously an incredibly poor region. And as you sort of walk around the fish markets, avoiding the massive fight that's going on, you do see a girl sort of perks up, who's looking quite average looking, and she perks up when she sees Stan. And she walks over and she tries to smile, and she's got about 2 teeth in her head. And she goes, "Do you want something? I'll do anything you want for 2 gold.
Will you have a chat with me for 2 gold?
Does my mouth have to be full for that?
Not even a little bit.
Okay, then that's good. Lefty's a bit loose today."
You
pokes
don't
her
want to
to-
lose that. You don't look like you have many of them left, so keep that guy in where it is. Okay. Is there kind of a quiet area that I won't get assaulted in?
You're currently standing outside the inn. It's relatively quiet. The rest of the fisherwomen seem to be having a fight.
Let's go inside so that maybe we're a little less conspicuous.
Okay, so you go inside, and as you go inside, the place literally seems like it's held together with 1 or 2 nails, as in it could easily fall apart any minute.
Like
The
it's
women-
nails that are held together by lice that are pushing on them?
Yep.
Cool.
The barmaid in this place is again quite old and quite withered looking, and she looks very angry. Like, she especially looks angry at you because she goes, "Oh God, more men! Let me guess. I'm going to Eisenport to meet my dream woman."
No, not quite. I'm actually looking for somebody who left for there, so...
Oh, let me guess. He sent you a letter. I've met my perfect woman.
You guessed correctly. This may not be the first time you've done this.
She gives you just a look of complete disdain.
I mean, if it helps anything, I'm trying to get these people back from where they've fucked off to.
Back. You go up and you try and talk to anyone there, they won't listen, they're all arrogant bitches.
Oh
they
my.
come to your town and they try and tell you that you should all come be part of the Eisenport gods. They all love you, they love women, do they? Pfft. They want to discard us like the toys we've become to them.
What gods do they serve up there?
They serve some fish thing. Some woman that lives beyond the tide.
Beyond the tide, as in the ocean?
I don't know. All I know is some wet woman that throws a religion at them and they all seem to appreciate it, don't care.
Some moist bint just out there.
Yep,
Hugging
moist bint on a
swords of
rock,
neighbors.
telling sailors that they know better than to come back to their wives.
Interesting.
Sounds horrible.
I'm not interested in that, but I mean, I am, but not for
So
the
are
reason.
you taking Denise somewhere then?
We're just gonna have a chat.
Oh, I see. Well, you can't do it in here. I don't want that here. It'll put other people off their food. Take her in the other room.
But by talking? Okay, whatever.
Well, some people are into that, but I think you'd be giving a group it for free, and I don't think she likes that.
We'll just go in the other room. Okay, it's fine.
So you go into this very small room. The bed seems like it's like, as you try and move anything, it feels incredibly crusty and
Yummy.
just generally revolting.
That was a really good adjective for it.
I'm just gonna go sit on the ground.
When you speak to the girl, you notice her absently starting to undress.
Whoa. You can keep your clothes on. This is an actual talk, not a
She
sex
looks at
thing.
you very confused and says, "But I'm in the room. I always get naked in the room."
I mean, if you're more comfortable, that's fine, but do what you want to do, not because you think I expect it.
Oh. And you sort of notice, at this point, you sort of notice that she randomly starts scratching herself in various parts. And as she sort of moves her clothes to put them back on, you notice that most of her body is covered in this blotchy red rash.
Gross. So how long have you had the rash? Have you been swimming in the lake?
The what? Oh, that was since I got a group of sailors in once, and I woke up the next morning and they'd left me this dots.
Yikes. So, full body herpes it is. Okay, so I really just want to know more about what's going on in the town. Like, who's the person who's hanging out there who is dead because he abandoned gods? Who is that?
She came to us and she told us that, you know, the woman up, the sort of wet woman, I can't remember her name, the wet woman from up north was going to, you know, come save us if we wanted to be saved, and we told them, fuck off, you've taken our husbands. And
That's
they weren't
fair.
happy, so they left. The next week they sent the same woman back down to try again, and we told her no, and she left. And then a week later she came back again with this new idea about building a canal system, and everyone was really involved in it. And then we heard from the south that one of the villagers had said no. So because they'd said no, there would only be us connected to it, and that wasn't enough for Eisenport. So they basically sent her again to try and convince us to convince them to do it. So the women got quite angry and ended up hanging her.
So why didn't, aside from general disdain for Eisenport, why didn't you guys want to do the canal?
Well, we were kind of fine with it, but the place down south didn't want it. Something about it being a religious thing. Like their god bathed naked in it every day or something. I don't know, something like that.
I don't think they're doing that anymore.
No,
they
I
are.
think it's safe to say they are not doing that anymore. I hope, anyway. So how long has Eisenport been stealing your husbands?
Oh, about... The first lot, I think, left about 2-3 years ago.
Do you think it's because of this wet lady?
Well, we used to trade with them, and we used to have a lot of fish here, and it used to be very nice fish, but then Eisenport suddenly started getting all these fish in that they were selling. And they came to us and said, we are now a fishing village and we can now sell all the fish cheaper than you can. And we told them no, we didn't want to be part of their village.
How far away is Eisenport?
About half a day's ride.
Oh, if they had enough houses between here and there, that could be the whole same city.
Well, we didn't want it because, we believed in the fish god. Well...
And you believed in him, or you still believe in him?
Well, the women outside, they all believed in the fish god. They believed that the fish god is what was causing all this stuff, but it's been the last, 30 years, it's been gradual descent of just women that have been here. Because the recent husbands that have came here, that moved here, like my husband, for example, left 3 years ago. But I think some of the women outside, their husband has left 20, 30 years ago. They've tried to take over his labour and work in the mines, but most of them have been left broken people.
Well, I can see why you don't like Eisenport. So, how long has the water been treating the fish like that? How long has it been poisoned?
That's been going on for about a year. It's been getting steadily worse. It used to just be this nice green film on top of the water, which we just thought was nutritious, because, it was green. And then it turned to black, and then it turned to speckly, and the fish stopped swimming as much as just bobbing. That's really it, really.
When did that body outside get hung?
Oh, she's been there for about... Well, the birds stopped pecking her a couple of weeks ago, so it must have been about a year.
Huh. So did anything happen? Did you notice anything? Did anyone notice anything about the time that the water turned black?
No, we just thought that it was just a seasonal thing.
Well, this has been fascinating. Has anyone tried to cure this stuff?
We had a man come a while ago. He told us he was this magical mage and he was going to solve all the problems, and he's the one that gave me the rash on my inner thigh.
Ooh.
Who was this guy?
I don't remember his name. I think it was Jason? Jacob? Something like that.
Very
and
magical name.
He was a mage, and he said he was coming to cure the land, and he needed to see what was causing the taint, as he put it. But when he went up north, he couldn't find anything. Either that or he just stayed there. He never came back to us.
What did he look like?
He was about, well, as elves go, he was about middle age. He had very fiery red hair and a surprisingly weird moustache.
What do you mean weird mustache?
Well, how often do you see an elf with a ginger moustache?
Okay, that's fair. Interesting.
Facial hair in general.
So, is there anything else you want to ask her?
I think I'm all out of questions.
You touched on some solid points.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm gonna pay her the gold that I promised her and then tell her to be good and leave.
So you give her, how much gold are you giving her?
2, I think was what we said.
Okay. So you give her 2 gold and she walks out, sort of jingling the gold. And you hear the barmaid go, I hope you swallowed a lot. I don't want to clean it off the floor again.
Oh, that's not gonna be an issue.
I'm the one sitting down.
I mean, it was a good chat, but I don't know if it was that good.
Oh boy.
So at this point you hear the bell ringing from the cart.
Yeah, I'm fine getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no more stinky fish.
No more fish fights.
Yep.
As you go, there's a full-blown brawl in the town.
Oh god, what did I do?
Fishwives basically smashing each other over the head with fish. And as you walk past, a couple of them try and break through the sort of melee and go, buy my fish, really fresh!
No, thank you.
As
No,
these
thanks.
guts and stinking guts are hanging out of this fish.
No,
We're
thanks.
vegetarians.
Veg you what?
We only eat vegetables.
So
Well explained.
you kind of hurriedly get back onto the cart as the woman goes, fish are vegetables, they don't really live.
I know that veggies are green, but not that kind of green.
Hard pass.
Okay, so you quickly get on the cart and you head off. You head off from Livestock Bay towards Eisenport. The cart rolls out of the city and rolls along the North Road, up a sort of long, winding path. Eventually sort of goes over the top of a hill, and in front of you is this very obviously lavish town. It's a portside town that's, as you get closer and closer to it, even though it's early evening, it looks very well built, it looks very well maintained, it looks almost gleaming. And as you ride into the town on this carriage cart thing, you look out and the women you see are like, they've got like so much gold jewelry. It's like everywhere from their like fingertips all the way up their arms. It's like golden earrings, golden bracelets, neck pieces, circlets everywhere. Just this, it's like they're walking around like almost festooned in gold. The whole place, there's like fountains, there's like murals, there's all of this just looks this elaborate, very beautiful, very artsy place. And as your cart pulls up and you climb out the cart, you see that there's a large inn onto your left called the Stork, and on your right there's the Braggart's Rest. There is also a very, very fancy temple. There is what looks like a sort of school building. There's like a jail. And there's a road that goes down that leads to what looks like a sort of small workshop, sort of jewellery crafting place, and all around it is these small pieces of gold. In the middle of it seems to be a very grumpy looking ginger dwarf.
Alright, Stan.
Yeah, I think I'll go talk to the dwarf. Do you guys, I don't feel comfortable going in the tent given how friendly these ladies have been, so can one of you guys check that out?
I'll go.
So, who's going where?
I'll go with Nessa.
They're going to the temple. I'm going to talk to the jeweler dwarf.
Oh, I'll go with you then. Split up a little bit.
And what is Ratio doing?
I will also go to the temple.
Okay.
Split even.
Okay, so we'll do let's do the dwarf first.
Alright, before we get there, I want to give Vestile the eyes that tell her, like, your slick little fingers. So don't get caught.
Okay.
Just don't get caught. And don't let me see you doing it, because we don't know if this guy's bad or not. He's probably fine.
I'll do my best not to touch.
If he's an asshole, quietly take something.
Of course. The worse behavior, the better for me.
It's just asshole tax at that point.
Pretty much. I won't get caught. I'll do my best.
Thanks.
Okay, so you walk down the hill. As you look ahead, this road must lead to the docks because it sort of leads round and towards the sort of sea itself, and you see a couple of fishing boats like sort of bobbing in the sea. And as you get close to this dwarf, you see that there's to the left and to the right of him there are lots of groups of women who seem to be like working on jewellery, and the dwarf himself seems to be limping around. He's got like a crutch, but it's quite weak and it looks like he's struggling to use it, and as you get close you notice his left leg is completely withered. It's like, it looks like it's been like ripped apart or torn or bitten, like it's a substantial injury. It's like it's barely survived this bite of some description.
Does it look recent or is it an older wound?
It looks he looks wearing kind of baggy clothing, but from what you can see from underneath the clothes and stuff like that, it looks like it's been there a long time, like it's a very old war wound.
Got it.
As you get closer, he sort of limps to one of the women's group and goes, No, not like fucking that. Can you fucking do jewelry? What the fuck? And he grabs it off her and he goes, No, you don't do it like that. That just makes it weak. Don't do it like that. How many times have I told you? Don't do it like that. He gives it back to her and he goes, You never learn. You've been here long enough. You never learn. And he hobbles to the other group and he seems to be equally as grumpy.
Can't trust a non-dwarf with dwarf matters. I get it.
Ah, fellow dwarf.
Oh there.
What brings you to these parts?
Well, I'm actually looking for somebody you might have met before.
Oh,
A guy by the name of Dorian.
A dwarf?
You might... No, I think he's an elf.
Oh, I wouldn't know about those things.
I'm here.
I mean, I think he said that he'd been by here before, but I'm sure you see random men all the time just coming here and then
we
never.
have a lot of men, they come here and they try and, ask me for making them a ring or something. I tell them, if they want a wedding ring, they can go buy it themselves somewhere else.
Well, yeah, it's clear that you make
rings
very special pieces here.
I make pieces on demand. I get given the gold, I melt it, I smelt it, and I craft it. And then these muggins here, they do the finer detail. My eyes aren't getting as good in my old age, but I can still, craft very well, but the finer details and the names, I need them to do it. It's not for me anymore. It's a young man's game. You're not a crafter, are you?
Unfortunately not. I'm more of a dungeoner than anything.
Good. You don't know any crafters in your party, do you?
I don't believe so.
Good. That's fine. You keep it that way.
Yeah, we weren't looking to recruit anybody. So, your staff is fine here. They're safe. Won't be poaching.
Question on my end. I know I'm an elf and all, but I know you might not remember him. He was here about 4 months ago. We were still talking about Dorian. He had this necklace, a charm around his neck. I forgot what he called it, a Dawn Whisper charm, I believe. He had been really, really persistent of knowing your craft, I think. He had written letters about...
4 months ago?
Yeah.
No. I remember some really vulgar elf coming to me about a year ago, but he wouldn't shut up. He just kept going, tell us how you do it, tell us how you do it, tell us how you do it, tell us how you do it. And I was like, I can't even with this guy. He's just, wouldn't he leave me alone? But, eventually he stopped. I don't know what caused it, but one day he just stopped coming by. And to be honest, I was kind of fucking thankful for it because I was getting sick of him.
I don't blame you. That sounds really obnoxious.
Aye. My papa will love you if you tell me how you do it. And I'm like, your papa can suck my bobby, I'm not telling you. And he's like, oh, my papa would love you if you told me. And I'm like, fuck off, you fucking elf.
Why was he so insistent on his dad knowing you?
Something about his dad being this high-end bastard, I don't know. I'm old.
Merchant?
I don't try and pull punches anymore, I'm old. I don't
have time for that.
You're gonna make my fortune. Fuck that, I've already survived my fortune. Look at my leg, I'm not going anywhere.
Not to stare at it, but what happened there?
I was mauled by a leviathan.
Oh,
that's a
trying
story.
to sink my axe deep into its forehead. Ended up dragged underwater. Woke up, hospital no far here. My leg almost completely in tatters. No pitch to fight anymore. Can't even get away, barely walk. Someone brought me this thing. He sort of waves the crutch. It's fucking useless. It's the closest thing I've got a leg though, so...
I'm sure we could find you a better one. Something better than that, anyway.
I'm old. I don't need anything better.
So where did this Leviathan get you? Was it near here?
I don't really know where I am, if I'm honest. I just know I'm in this seaside town, and every feelers I've put out to try and work out where I am have not been answered, so I've just been giving up. All I know is the dwarves I was on the boat with, none of them survived. I don't know how I survived. I just woke up here.
So he wasn't here. Sorry to move away from the leg thing and then the Leviathan thing because that's
fine. You carry on.
But awesome story. You're a badass. But in terms of Dorian in general, I must have mistaken the 4 months he had been for a year. But had he stopped coming around 4 months ago?
Well, as I said, he just kind of stopped coming one day, and to be honest, I'm glad to see the back of him.
Fair. Very annoying. Always asking. Never giving, never showing, never telling. But...
I don't remember how long ago it is. My memory's not all there, but I remember him. I remember he came here. But did I know anything about him? No.
Has that happened before with anyone else?
There have been many people here, but they all go away given time.
So where in town is like the central meeting point for a lot of the men who are going out and working on the boats?
Boats? What boats?
Yeah.
I thought they were building ships here, and that's why they were recruiting all of the men from the towns around us.
That's news to me.
Oh.
Oh, well, that was the main thing.
At this point, one of the women looks up, sort of quite alarmed, and says, "No, Anders, they make boats here. Don't they, ladies?" And all the women go, yes, 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 yes. Don't they, Anders? And Anders goes, "What? Do they? Yes, they have boats here." And he gives you a look of, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Like, oh, okay. Yeah, those boats. Can you direct us to those boats? Where they might be?
Well, I'm assuming they're at the dock because you don't keep a boat in a school. So
Fair. That's
fair point.
That's a very fair point.
And one of the women goes, "Anders, don't tell the lovely people about the boats." And Anders was just like,
wait, am I supposed to say there's boats or no?
and the woman just goes, "I'll talk to the matriarch if you carry on that attitude." And he just looks at her really confused, like he's not sure how to answer.
So yes, there are boats. We will not go seeking the boats. We just know people come here for the boats. Thank you, ladies.
Yes, we should find an inn. I feel like that might be more useful to us than a boat, because we're not looking to sail anywhere right now.
Yes, what Stan said.
So, you wanted to ask her anything else, or you wanted just to leave?
Where can we find the matriarch? Just out of curiosity. I don't want to accidentally bump into her or anything.
Anders goes,
Be rude.
Oh, she's usually in the...
And at this point, the woman shouts, "She'll be in the school. She always goes to school at night, doesn't she, Anders?" You just see the dwarf just looking at you like, "I'm sick of dealing with that woman."
We'll take your word for it. Yeah. So let's look for an inn.
Okay, so while you do that, we'll cut to the temple. So, what are you going to do at the temple?
What do we see?
You walk up steps and you see there's a set of pews on the left, a set of pews in the middle, and a set of pews on the far right. The ones on the left, they look more comfy, but they also have like kneeling pads and everything. They look like they're for a particular type of people.
The righteous ones. The rich ones. The rich, righteous ones. Okay.
As you look towards the middle of the temple, there's lots and lots and lots of candles, and there are a couple of women standing, basically in prayer, at the front.
I'm gonna be rude and interrupt them and like, "Hey, can you tell me more about this church? This temple?"
One of them turns around and goes, "Where are you from?"
"Oh, from far, far, far away.
I see. And why are you here?"
I travel all over the place."
"I see. Right, the temple's a religious place, so not for the likes of you. Good day."
Well, that was abrupt.
Excuse me, ma'am. Isn't a temple a place of knowledge? Don't you want?
It's a place of knowledge and a place of holy rejuvenation, but not for the likes of you. Go away.
No.
Why not for the likes of us?
Do you even believe in she who waits beyond the waves?
I would like to know. Maybe I would like to believe.
And she just looks at the other woman, and the other woman goes, "I'll fetch the matriarch," and walks out, while the woman that remains goes, "Well, we all here worship she who waits beyond the waves." And she sort of gestures to a very elaborate sort of mural, and she says, "There we go, this is a indication of our beliefs and religion, that, we have a God and she lives out in the sea. She protects us, and she gives us good harvest on fishing, and she gives us, everything we want in life."
That sounds good. So far, I'm not hearing a single bad thing. Keep talking.
"Are you married?"
I am not. Why would I let a man tie me down?
We have a lot of women turn up who seem to be irate, thinking we've taken their husband. We haven't. The husband has never been here.
If I were to have a husband and he were to, just go off, I would say good riddance. A good husband
such a fickle
stays.
species, aren't they?
Yes.
She seems to not be very sure of you.
women can take care of themselves. Why should we rely on men?
Oh, but we are the delicate sex, are we not? She looks at you with a kind of inquisitive look.
I've got daggers and I've got skills, honey.
And she asks, do you wish to pray with us?
Tell me more and I will pray.
Come with me then. We will journey to the schoolyard. The evening prayer is about to begin.
Rysel, are you coming with us?
Yeah. Don't want to be stuck in this creepy temple this lovely place.
So he sort of bustles you down towards the school, and it seems that there's like a sort of choir, it looks like, arrangement of school kids, and they're all female, but they all seem to be between the ages of about 4 and maybe 17, like that kind of like usual spread for sort of school kids kind of thing. And all around there seem to be like pregnant mothers. And there is one lady who is wearing slightly more gold than everyone else. She's got like a solid gold bracer on her left arm, and she basically clasps her hands and says, "Okay, children, let us recite the night prayer." And all at once, in unison, you hear the following: "Praise to she who waits beyond the waves. We thank you for this day. We ask for your protection throughout the night. Shield us from the great cold one and the deep below. Speak to us in dreams and intercede in our days, that we may know your grace and glory. Blessed be." And then she bows to the children all bow back to her, and then everyone disperses.
Who's the bold one?
The woman who has the bracer on her arm turns to you and says, "Hello there. I am the matriarch of this land. How may I help you?"
Hello, ma'am. We're just curious travelers. We like exploring and learning new things, and so far, your temple is very interesting. Not like the other cocky-pock religions that are going around.
I see. And what is it you like about our religion?
Badass women. Yep, badass women.
I see. Right.
You don't rely on men.
No, we don't. Men are there for the work, but they are not there for the rest of their life. We do our best without them.
I like that. Mauricio?
So, know you say that you do your best without them, but I noticed that there's a lot of pregnant women walking around here, so how's that?
That is from horrible, sinful men who arrive here and have lied to my poor girls. They took them into rooms, they took them anywhere they could, and they cast their seed upon them.
Ugh.
And then they left in boats, great many boats, discarding my poor girls. And so we take them in, and we help them, and we treat them as part of our community, and we teach them that if they want a man to be their life partner, that they have to have a ring on their finger. No copulation, no other things until that ring is there. In fact, we even insist that no man be left alone with one of our girls unless that ring is on that finger. Because men cannot be trusted.
May I suggest that you start teaching them self-defense?
Self-defense? And how would that help?
Well...
Men are brutes. They are filthy. They are violent. We are but dainty creatures, and we are not likely to be able to fight back with such gusto as to be anything more than a fevered play toy. None of my girls deserve that treatment.
No. Women can be badass in this religion. I mean, come on. You're saying that men are evil, and yet you consider yourselves the gentler sex? No, honey. You can move a lot faster than a man. I mean, come on, they're like big, disgusting. You can move fast, and you can hit major points. I can show you.
Is this one of these lectures I have heard many times of kick them, what is it, in thy balls and run?
Oh,
yes, I've heard this many times, but unfortunately one of my girls has at least been victim to the he still catches you. And cleaning up the mess after her, well,
No,
I
I
don't
was
think any of
thinking-
my girls deserve any of that.
I'm so sorry about her, but I was thinking with daggers.
Ah, daggers, but how may a girl conceal daggers upon her person while still appearing to be the gentler sex, as it were?
Can you find my daggers on me?
My dear, I have long since passed my years of wishing to look at a girl's anatomy.
Just look at my clothing, dear.
Does it have pockets?
Nope, they're not in my pockets.
No, but does your clothing have pockets? For
think I have
pockets are a
mine.
wonderful thing, and, you know, the most important thing about a wonderful dress is the fact it has pockets.
Okay, pause for a second.
That's too true.
If I have learned nothing else as a man who wears a kilt, yes, it's very true.
Hang on.
Appreciate it.
Yes, you are, I really like that.
And back in scene. So, do you have anything else you wish to ask her?
Rachel?
So, as she said, we're travelers and we're actually looking for someone. Considering that you're the matriarch, would expect that you know almost everyone that passes through this
Well,
town.
I know all of my girls. I don't pretend to know all of the men that have came through, but some have left a lasting impression, whereas others have been rather foul.
We're looking for 2 men.
2 men? Were they
Yes.
a couple?
Oh.
No.
No. And that would be cute, but no.
One, his name is Dorian. He's tall, blonde hair, kind of had a medallion. It's like a circle with cords wrapped around it. He was the son of a merchant.
I am afraid if there was such a Darian, whatever.
I
his
have no
name
idea.
was. If there was such a man, I've never heard of him and I've never seen him. He never left much of an impression on me that I should remember him.
Who was his wife? Rachel,
Oh,
do
he
you
was
remember
married.
Yes.
Did
He
bring his
married one
wife
of your
here?
girls.
Oh, he married one of my girls?
I believe so.
Oh my, what was her name?
Moria.
Melia.
Well, I don't recall any girl of that name, but if you look inside the school here, we have a log of all the marriages and there's been between my girls and men, but there hasn't been any for a number of years, I'm afraid. But we do keep a record of those that we did have. But there are many men that have been lost at sea.
Also, who is the bald one?
I'm sorry, you've lost me. What do you mean?
When you, the ninth prayer? Who was the,
Oh.
protect us from the bald one?
Oh, my dear child. It's not the bald one. It's the great cold one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes
The great cold one is, well, he's what some religions would call a devil figure. For we have she who waits beyond the waves, who is our mother, who we wish to wait and hope that we may join when it is our time to go into the sea. And you have the great cold one, who rises from the cold depths, and he takes the wicked and the mean and the downright despicable, and he takes them down and down and down to the great cold depths of the bottom of the sea. And that's where they spend eternity, in eternal darkness and eternal cold. That is where the great cold one abides.
Oh.
And we hope and pray that the great cold one will never come for us, and that she who waits beyond the waves will take our spirits and take us away to a land of peace and serenity, rather than being dragged down to the cold below.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
Anything else you wish to ask?
Oh, where are your boats? Everyone's been talking about your boat.
Yeah, you guys seem pretty famous for
the
boats.
boats. I'd say, have you been speaking to villagers along your way here?
Yeah.
We have work for many men. They come here, they help us craft these large boats that we use to transport across the sea. The supplies of fish we get for the gold we get in return is great, but we need a very big, fast boat, and by the time we create such things, it is time to take the order. And then when it arrives in Newport, the men seem to disembark and go, there's lots more work here than there ever could be over the sea. So they stay there. And sadly, they leave us, and they leave some of us with child, but unfortunately, that's just the way things are.
I think we've got all we need. If you could direct us to your log books about the marriages, I don't understand why he would write to his father and mother about a marriage that didn't happen. He seemed really happy.
Well, if he had met one of my girls, he would be very happy, for I'm sure that you must see, look around. For my girls are some of the most beautiful in the land. But if you're looking for the books, they are kept within the school here. If you want them, they are just here.
Michelle, I don't read. You gotta read it to me. Let's go.
All right. Exactly what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. Knew this was my job.
Well, maybe you could teach me how to read.
You look through the books. They're very old. They're very dusty. They seem to stop. What you can seem to work out is about 50 years ago. When they stopped, the last recorded wedding seemed to be between two women. And after that, it seems to have stopped.
Well, looks like they're not in here. I don't know. All of this seems really suspicious.
This is not the most current book, or it really is the last marriage. We should go talk to these ladies if they're, still alive.
So at this point, it's getting into proper evening. Everywhere's beginning to close down for the night. So are you staying at the inn? Or which inn are you staying at for one? Or what else are you doing?
I guess we'll go to the inn.
I vote for the braggarts because a stork doesn't sound like a good time to me.
I agree.
All right, then I'll go to not the stork.
Okay, so you enter the Braggart's Inn, and immediately Stan is swamped by women who are just like, oh, hi there, how are you doing, blah, 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 blah. And he's sat down and he's brought ale, he's brought food, he's basically getting massages and everything, while the other three of you are sitting at the rest of the table being completely ignored.
I like women company too, but,
I'm
whatever.
fine. This is fine.
I don't think you can give them children and they're hoping that I can. But I really enjoy this food and drink, so I'm gonna ride it out for a bit.
So the rest of you say things like, I'd like some food too, and the women sort of shoot you glances no. Whereas they're completely doting on Stan. Stan says as much as say that, I maybe think I'd like an ale, or maybe a bottle of whiskey or something, and then suddenly this all appears on the table like he's asked for.
Oh, I see my companions over there getting nuts. I say, it'd be really nice if my friends here could get some food and drink as well.
And they sort of come to you, yes, but they don't matter. They don't matter. Only your opinions matter.
I appreciate that quite a bit, but they're also my friends, so...
So what is it you want them to have?
Just some food and some drink.
Okay, so...
Not slop.
In front of you at the moment, there is a sort of lavish plate of meats and vegetables and stuff like that. One of the women comes back, and she comes back with literally a bowl of water and a couple of raw onions, and just slams them on the table and says, there, they've got food.
I tried.
Thank you.
Sorry guys, I tried.
It's okay, I love a good raw onion.
Ooh.
I don't know who you are, but no.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that. That no.
So do you ladies not see many men, or...
Oh no, we men are just so infrequent in this village that, anyone that we'd have would be wonderful to spend time with.
And by spend time with, you mean just hang out, right?
And
sit
they all sort
here.
of look at you with some sort of shocked expression on their face, and then all seem to answer as one, we wouldn't go further than that without rings on our fingers.
Oh, good. I was just making sure that you ladies were honorable and chaste as you should be.
One of the women goes off and comes back and offers the rest of the party a bottle each of Ritsina, which is a very strong pine resin alcohol.
I take a sip of it.
Sappy gin.
One of the women goes, yes, you can have the Ritsina. It's a beautiful beverage that we all drink round here. Whereas,
do you drink it? Have a sip.
They basically just go, alright, take a swig of it and then give you back the bottle.
Alright.
I'll wait for them to swallow. I narrow my eyes at her. I'm like, I don't appreciate the onion water.
They drink it fine, it's just very alcoholic.
I'll take a sip. I'll take one
It's
quick sip.
apparently horrifically alcoholic and stinks like pine, so yeah.
Ow!
Reminds me of home. More onions!
So, as Stan gets doted on, the rest of you seem to live on the smell of pine and raw onion.
That's gonna be a weird mixture to smell tonight.
Sorry about my farts.
Oh, God.
So, Stan gets led to his own personal room, which is very large and elaborate, and the rest of you all get thrown in what basically could be like a small hovel room with tiny beds.
Everything I dream.
And, you know, in the middle of the room is like this gigantic crate of Ritsina.
Oh my god, we are getting drunk tonight. Yes!
You do that. I'm gonna go to sleep.
As you try and sleep, the stench of pine is just emanating from every sort of part of the room. Just smells like pine now, and that's just from having the bottle open.
Ugh.
Oh my god,
This town.
we need Parmesan. No. We need pastrami. Let's get pastrami. I'm drunk off my ass.
Assuming that they would even give us pastrami or any decent amount of food.
Yeah.
Let's go get a beard, pretend we're men, and we can have a feast.
I'm good.
It's not that easy to just get a beard.
I can make one, and then I fall asleep with the bottle next to me.
Yeah.
So, you all wake up the next morning. Some of you have got very bad Ritsina hangovers, which basically feels like you've chewed on air fresheners.
Ugh.
You smell like the inside of a car.
So
A really old one.
Really old one. That
You again come down, and again Stan's been given this huge, elaborate feast for breakfast. The rest of you are all sitting at the end of the tables, staring at another raw onion and another crate of Ritsina.
Yes, raw
Can I
onion.
stealthily sneak some food into my pack? Or are they going to be like, what are you doing? Let us do that for you.
Yeah, you can do that. You can basically, anything you do, they have no problem with.
Okay.
But they are not, basically, if you ask them to do something involving, like, feeding your friends, they will not do it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were to hand them food, they wouldn't object.
Okay, I'm gonna take some food over that isn't soup and, or like warm-ish broth and an onion and give it to them. I slept great. How did you guys sleep? I slept like a baby dwarf, like I haven't slept in years.
what does it smell like what happened last night?
You smell like pine fresh ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's about right.
I had so much. I do you have bread? Can I soak this up?
Can you not? You had a crate. You had a crate.
Anything that sobers you up at this point, I'm fine with. So just take whatever you want. I've got too much.
Bread. I need the bread.
So, is there anywhere we can go to talk in private? Because we have a lot to share.
Yeah.
You can go to their room, and as you go to their room, the girls all start to object to have you going to such a horrible room.
It's just temporary, So, I'm not staying there. It smells like pine and ass.
Rude.
But yes, you can just go to their room and close the door.
Alright, I'm gonna relay everything that we kind of learned. We'll just do an abbreviated version for the sake of time. Are you guys also telling us what you learned?
Yep.
Okay. It sounds to me like this great cold one might be the Leviathan that ate the other dwarf's leg. We didn't actually catch his name. We're terrible people. We should asked his name.
Yeah.
We just know him as the goldsmith. Oh, Anders? I think.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I just had a brain fire because I was drowning in all that delicious food.
And
I
not
bet.
a cooch.
Sounds nice. Sounds real nice.
I shared.
You
I
did.
shared.
Yes,
We're
you
drowning.
I can't help it that I have a don't.
did.
Gosh.
I love how you just cut out there. Just like
Yeah, you like cut out.
You don't.
Sorry. Being censored by the internet. So, all the women act real cagey and weird if you bring up the guys that are disappearing.
Or
Like, don't
the
talk
boats.
about it. And the
Or the
boats,
boats.
yeah, they got real weird about the boats. So there's something hinky going on, and I feel like we should go check out the docks.
Same. And he did know who Dorian was. He had seen him. He always came in asking about, when are you going to teach me how to make what you're making? When are you going to sell me things? Like, pretty much talked his ear off. And then one day he just didn't show up. Anders didn't really note it because he's like, quiet. But, like he just suddenly stopped coming. It was very abrupt, it sounds like. So.
It sounds like that kid was a bit of a prat, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what can you do? But it doesn't explain where he went. It doesn't even show. There's no real sign of what happened. Just he stopped showing up. He's the only one that said he knows where he is so far. Or not where he is, but who he is.
And the matriarch said there hasn't been a wedding in 50 years. In fact, the last one was 50 years, and it was two women.
So, who's getting married then? Where are they going?
She says that no one has been getting married, and that the men just fuck the girls and leave.
That doesn't sound like what we've seen so far at the other towns and here. Like, it sounds like the women are throwing themselves at the men, so I think they probably...
Stories.
Yeah, I don't think they're as chaste as all that, and I'm beginning to form an idea of what might be going on.
Same.
But I don't know.
Another thing. If I remember in the letter, did the mother say she knew who Dorian was?
No. In fact, she didn't even know who the girl was.
It's interesting because he said he met her.
Met the mother?
Yeah.
The matriarch?
Yeah, I remember that too, from when you were reading it to us.
It's like my meeting with the mayor of the town called her the mother. Graced the space with the same eager welcome extended to all. He met her.
Something's not adding up.
Yeah, they're not getting their story straight. One person says that there's boats, another one says there isn't. Now they're saying that like they haven't met each other and that she knows all the girls, but somehow this girl doesn't exist. I think it has something to do with this cold one, as well as this, was it the lady beyond the waves? Is that what I heard she's called?
Yeah.
I think they're sacrificing the men so that they can appease this lady and the Leviathan.
Yes, that is what I'm starting to get, at least, but I wonder why they started doing it all of a sudden, or if they just always... and then inventing people that they've married or fell in love with.
This is convenient cover stories.
And then just send them letters and they'll be fine. Granted, like, it's kind of messed up. She's like, yeah, I'm leaving you for... That's not what she actually says. That's Shadi talking, but... but yeah, like, leaving you for this lady here over and over and over again. Just kind of weird that no one decided to look into it, but at the same time...
And that there are so many pregnant women. Maybe they're farming these guys?
Maybe.
Like cows?
Oh, it could be more. It could be one of those things where, like, let's try to get them pregnant and make more ladies. And
I mean, what do they do if it's a boy?
that's the question, isn't it? But it's just
to the ocean?
To the Leviathan, maybe.
As a sacrifice?
Yeah, maybe. But we don't know. This is all speculation, really. But I think we know that, like, men are disappearing, and they're saying they're getting married when they're not, because marriages haven't happened in how long. So they're disappearing. And then women are walking around with children. Have we seen any children?
You've seen... There's been every kind of age, but they're basically... All the women that are pregnant look that they're the same stage of pregnancy. And all the children you see are all roughly around the same age. They're all like, you don't ever see like, basically all the kids look like they were like made in, I don't want to say made in batches, but kinda.
So there's not even a child running around anywhere. Like, I mean, if they did make
no, I thought there were some in the school.
There are children, but they're in the school. But the children in the school are literally from like just under a year old to like 17. They're all like various ages.
Okay, so there are children. Okay, I just wanted to know, like, it's weird if there's just pregnant people walking around and kids, but...
So, if the kids are roughly done in the same ages and the women are roughly at the same stages of their pregnancies, and they recruit a bunch of men twice a year, do you think maybe those are the batches? Like, they take part in this fertility ritual and then they ship them off to be devoured.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
maybe.
about right.
I mean, if they, let's say they make these hypothetical ships to, you know, go somewhere, the Leviathan is probably gonna shipwreck that ship, I'm assuming, and that's the sacrifice for him.
Well, we need some proof.
We do. We're just literally just speculating, just throwing stuff on, seeing what sticks. So we don't got nothing. We just have letters, stories that don't make sense, and people being hush-hush.
You guys want to go to the temple again?
Nah, I want to go to the docks, but you can go to the temple.
No.
I don't...
No.
Is there anywhere else to go besides the... Because I would like to go to the dock, but other potential places.
I'll just tell you again where you can go. There was the schoolhouse, there was the temple, there's the 2 inns, there's the docks, there's Anders Market, and there's a jailhouse.
Let's go to the jailhouse.
Wow. I want to go to the schoolhouse.
Okay.
I want to talk to these batch kids.
So where are you all going?
I'm going to the jailhouse.
Schoolhouse.
Docks.
Doc.
Okay. So we'll just start at the top and work down. So you get to the jailhouse. You immediately as you walk in, there's this stench of pine. And as you walk in, there are 2 girls who are basically got face masks on, who are scrubbing the jail clean using Retsina as cleaning liquid.
Oh, that's a good use of alcohol. Are you in punishment?
And they turn to you and say, No, we're just cleaning it down. There was a nasty fight in there last night.
Oh no. May I ask, who was in here?
Oh, it was... They basically like fob you off with names, but all you hear in reference is that she ripped a bunch of hair out of her head.
It was a girl fight.
Yes, over some dwarf apparently.
Dwarf? Oh, yeah. Well, he's gonna love that. So, what's the crime around here? I mean, it seems pretty peaceful.
Well, we just really have this as a sort of show that, you know, if you're naughty, you'll get punished.
Any men?
Oh, we haven't seen any men for several months, but when some do turn up, it's good to let them know that if they do anything, then they can get sent to jail.
Okay, so is there anything else in the jailhouse that I should know?
There just seems to be 2 very simple looking cells, and the whole place is getting like regularly washed down with this very strong pine scented alcohol.
Hey, by any chance, did you know a guy named Darian?
They both look at you and say, Oh no, we don't talk to any boys.
Oh, I mean, okay. Have you seen a guy with a green triangle tattoo?
They both sort of look at you quite blankly and go, No.
Okay. Well,
Is he new in town? And both of them sort of look a bit more excited at this point.
No, he was here many months ago.
They both look quite crestfallen.
I'm sorry, ladies, but the right one will come along.
They sort of nod and get back to their cleaning.
And I should go to the docks.
Okay. So, schoolyard.
Yes.
At this point, the matriarch is there, and as you arrive, she's leading the kids in the morning prayer, which you hear the following, again being recited by both the matriarch and the entire congregation. Great Mother who waits beyond the waves, We bless your name. We walk your will upon the shore, that the sea may meet the land. Bless our days with your glory, and deliver us from the great cold one. And cast us not to the deep below, but bring us to your side beyond the waves. Blessed be.
Am I like in the schoolyard? Or am I like looking at
You're like,
them?
it's just basically an old building, but it's got like desks and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Everyone seems to be out the front for this morning prayer, and then as that's finished, they all sort of file in, and they're all sitting. It seems like no matter what age they are, they all stay in the same like room for like education.
Okay. Can I do a perception check on age ranges exactly? Like if some are like if they're ordered in any way?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Why do I just suck at rolls today? Okay.
It seems to be, this point in the day, it seems to be like more younger children. They seem to be like up to about maybe 10. They all seem to be there at once, and there must be about 60 of them.
60, 10-ish year olds?
Well, 60 between the age of like 4 and 10. All sort of scattered intermingled in this thing. It looks like there was a bunch of older children who were there for the morning prayer, but they seem to have gone off somewhere else.
Okay. I decide to walk in and I guess talk to the mother a little bit, if she'll let me when this is not me.
Well, she's still standing outside at the moment.
Oh, okay. So
you can speak to her if you want. What would you like to say?
Well, hello. I just wanted to introduce myself. I am Bastille. I came along with a group of other ladies. I think you met them. It's Nessa and Isil.
Blessed be, my child, if you came to devote yourself to she who waits beyond the waves.
I've heard a little bit from them, but I wanted to hear it a little bit more explained, if possible.
Well, it's quite simple, really. We dedicate our lives to, the simple truth of life, which is education and, being a commune. And if you need help, you help someone else. And when you reach a certain age, you become a fisherwoman, and you go out to the sea and you collect all the fish. And then when you reach another certain age, it's the time for you to meet she who waits beyond the waves, where you walk to the sea and you are taken into her loving arms.
Interesting. And how would... And I, start stroking my chin, pretending to be interested, but just, nodding knowingly. It's And how would I go about participating or being a part of this?
Well, first you'd need to learn how we basically work around here, I suppose. You'd need to be educated from a young age about fishing, which might take a long time for you to learn. I mean, many of the girls here have been taught how to do fishing since the age of 4.
Oh boy. Yeah, I got a lot of catching up to do. And water isn't really my thing either. That might, put a damper on things, actually.
You need to come out with us to the deepest part of the ocean.
Yeah.
And there you will find your salvation, my child.
I'm gonna have to think about that. And I'll be right back with you on that one, but it does sound very intriguing. I was just wanting to hear a little bit more, and I am intrigued. I would like to talk to you a little bit about later, but stopping in, just wanted to hear you talk, give my introductions, and I bow. And thank you for your time. She bows
and says, "Blessed be."
And blessed be to you, and I kind of duck out. She's like, "Thank you."
Okay. Are you doing anything else, or is that you running away from the schoolyard?
That is me running away from the schoolyard, and the thought of going out into the deepest, darkest part of an ocean, a body of water. So, no. But yes, I'm ducking out. I bid adieu.
Okay, so we roll to the docks.
I don't really want to talk to anybody when we get there. I'm telling Raciel this. I just want to see what's up, because I don't trust them.
Okay, you walk to the docks. When you arrive at the docks, there's hundreds of women sort of mingling around, but not hundreds, but maybe 150 or 200 women who are sort of either helping gut fish, take fish off boats, or are on boats themselves preparing to go back out to fish. Whatever they're doing, it seems that their haul of fish is very, very plentiful. As in, the boats that they catch fish on, they seem to catch almost enough fish for the boats to nearly capsize. It's remarkable that they can seem to catch this number of fish each on every single boat.
Suspicious.
And as you So walk down to the docks, you see groups of women who literally are working in like production lines of gutting fish and putting the meat into one sort of basically container and throwing like the heads and the tails and all the bones and stuff into another container.
How many boats are there?
There's about 30-40 boats, all about
That's significant.
maybe about size of about a 4-person boat.
Does it look like they've been building any boats around here? Like, is there a dockyard for that?
As you sort of look around, there is what looks like a framework for a larger boat to the very back of the dock, but from what you can see from where you are, it doesn't look very finished. It looks as if it's literally just a skeleton.
I'd like to go check that out.
Okay.
Follow.
So you walk past the dock on all these women just working away on these fish, and you get to the sort of skeleton of the boat. It looks like the skeleton itself of what looks like some sort of large transport ship, but it's so far away from completion that even when you sort of look at it and you tap it with your like knuckles and see how big it is and how it feels like it's been there a long time. Like there's spider webs and cobwebs, and when you tap the wood it feels like it's not hollow, but it could be very easily like full of woodworm.
They haven't been working on ships. I feel like we knew that, but now we know that.
If anything, you realise that the wood's probably not treated and it's kinda warped already.
So, have I already made it to the docks?
You've kind of arrived as you notice them like tapping on the sort of skeleton of the boat.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not building boats. I don't know what they're doing here, but building boats ain't it. And I don't see any men's, so.
Well, how are the men going away? Random thought.
They gasp.
Yes, random thought. Are the men being turned into fish?
Huh. That's kind of
probably not.
Well, everywhere else we go, the fish and the lakes are polluted and diseased and just really disgusting. But here, they're not.
Well, the water isn't like covered. I'm assuming. Am I there? I don't think I'm there.
You're not here, I don't think.
Not there yet, no. But you can appear shortly if you want.
All right. Well, I'll appear shortly. But...
I think the poisoned lakes are poisoned. I don't think it's because they've turned men into fish and then the fishmen don't know how to fish and then they just give up on life.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but it doesn't sound quite right.
But why would they poison the fish?
Do you know of any spells to turn men into fish? I guess that'd be an Arcana check.
Yeah, it would probably be an Arcana check, yes.
I got a no.
No.
There are no.
It would be a great idea, but you can't think of any fathomable way to do it.
I could work on that.
Yep, there are no spells for that. But it doesn't make sense. Why would they poison all these other so that they can profit for them, so that the men can keep coming up there?
I think it's strong-arming them into doing what they want.
But who's telling them to do it?
The matriarch, maybe? I mean, maybe she's sending people out to go and get it, and then when the towns don't comply, they poison their lake until the town is finally just dead, or start saying, sure, we'll do what you want, it'll be fine.
Okay.
But the real question is, where are all the men?
I think they're dead, or they're like cattle somewhere.
If they were cattle, where would they?
I have a bad idea.
Sure.
Oh, it's pretty bad, but it could work, right?
Why do I feel like I think I know what you're trying to do?
Because it's bad and easy to guess at.
Go ahead and say it. I already know what you're going to do.
What if I am bait?
Yeah,
and then you guys can track me to wherever they're taking the men's, and then we go from there.
By the way, I should let you know, when I visited the jailhouse, they were cleaning the jailhouse with that pine wine.
The stuff you've been drinking?
Yeah.
Gross. I wouldn't drink that anymore.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Floor cleaner.
And there was a fight in the jailhouse last night, and it was because of you. So you're delicious bait right now.
Well, I feel bad that people were fighting.
Yeah, some woman's hair got pulled out.
Oh. Well, I feel bad about that.
I don't know how comfortable I feel with you becoming bait, but we're not getting any clues otherwise.
Yeah. It's the fastest way for us to figure out where everyone's going. I mean, it's also the fastest way for me to die, but you know what? If it saves everyone else some effort and less people will die as a result, then I'm gonna do it.
Well, I'm just gonna kiss you on your forehead and all right, let's do this.
You stink of pine, but I accept it.
Am I even here to say yes to this?
You arrive just as they do that.
It's like,
Guess
what just
what?
happened? But explain yourself.
We got married.
So, we're doing a terrible idea.
Oh, goody. Tell me.
I'm bait.
That's not a goody. Why?
Is there a tracking spell that we can do so you guys can discreetly track where I am?
I mean, that's what I do as a thief. Like, I can do that in general.
You probably could just be tracked by, let's see who's got good tracking. Nessa's got 5 in tracking, and Vestal's got 4 in tracking. So yeah, between the two of them, they could probably track you relatively easily.
Awesome.
Unless they get horrible rolls.
You know, trying to be obvious with some stuff. Yeah, that'd be shitty. Yeah, so.
I say we do it, but how do we go about this? Do I just, like, roll over and show them my belly and hope that someone rubs it? And then takes me home?
Metaphorically speaking or literally speaking?
Yeah, I hope it's metaphorically. I'm not interested in it physically happening.
I think you just have to say, I'm looking for a wife in the middle of the bar, and...
Maybe I should go to the matriarch and say that I'm looking for a wife.
All right, yeah, let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make this terrible idea worse.
Okay. So, I take it you're going to the temple for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Are all of you coming, or is it just...
Just standing. We're just like surreptitiously standing up, being creeps.
So Stan walks into the temple, and the matriarch is there, and she turns to him and says, "Ah, good evening, my child. How can I help you? Blessed be."
Blessed be.
Blessed be, matriarch. I came here looking for... Well, I was on some work, and I wound up here, but I would like to find a wife and settle down here. So...
Ah, you would like one of my girls. Well, I hope you've got a ring.
I will have one, yes. But I wanted to see if we could find a really honorable and chaste girl. That's very important to me.
Ah, my child. Well, if you follow me, I'll take you down to the part of the temple that my girls are in, and we will discuss those that are in season, shall we say.
Excellent.
So, Stan is sort of led through a sort of side passage and disappears from sight. Now comes the point where the rest of you try and find out where he goes from here. So, after a couple of minutes, you realise he's not come back, and you don't even hear him. The matriarch walks back into the room and goes back to what she was doing. What do you do?
Alright, since I have no tracking or anything like that, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys.
Well, I will tell you to distract her and talk to her. And
you and I should go track then.
Mm-hmm. Do we know where they walked off to, in what direction, or are we just...
You basically, because you were trying to be stealthy and wait outside, expecting him to be like walking past you, none of you know which direction he went.
Okay. You distract, we'll be stealthy.
Do we have to roll?
When we get in, but like let Raciel go first.
Okay.
Wait, why am I the one stuck with distraction?
Because you just said that you don't know how to track, and
Yeah, but I can just follow you guys. She's not paying attention. Let's just...
Is she not paying attention? Or I don't know.
She's just sort of standing doing a couple of things. You notice that there seems to be a lot more of the pregnant girls working around the temple today. So there are a couple of girls walking around.
Are they rubbing their bellies?
Yes, they're rubbing their bellies and going, stomach.
Because that's what everyone does when they're pregnant.
Stomach. Okay, so I say, we're there to just chat. You be the point person, Raciel, but we're literally just eyeing the place. I mean, I am a thief after all, it's what I do.
Okay.
And I've got your back.
As you move to speak to the matriarch is beginning to walk out of the temple, and she gets stopped at the door by Raciel and says, my child, you've returned. Are you coming to pray with us?
Yes I am.
Good. I hope that you might want to start your life here. I mean, we have much to offer.
Oh, could we walk and talk at the same time?
My child, I usually would, but I'm afraid it's the eve of wax.
The eve of who?
The eve of wax, my child. See, all these candles here. It's the eve of wax. And I'm afraid that I am needed elsewhere. I will leave you in the capable hands of Cassandra and Alexa here. And these two girls, the very, very pregnant girls, sort of turn to it and smile. She goes, girls, please, anything she needs, please answer. And the matriarch leaves.
Okay, well, we walk in and I nod to both of them. It's like, you guys are very pregnant.
Yes, stomach, yes.
Who did that? Like, you guys look like you're around the same trimester going on here, eh? Come on.
Who did that?
Who did that? What's going on? I just gesture to both bellies.
They go and they sort of get quite nervous when you start looking at their bellies. And then they go, well, we were just both in season at the right time. You know how women are. Our clocks in line.
Right.
Did they all get their periods at the same time, like the red tent?
They probably do.
Imagine a whole town where that's possible.
Oh, sweet Jesus. But yeah, so it's like, this is interesting. So we're just gonna look around a little bit. We're not gonna do anything special. Probably gonna leave in a little bit. Just, take a gander. Raciel has some questions. Both of you, actually.
Yes. Day of wax. Could you guys explain a little bit more what this is? And I kind of take their arm, wrap one arm around each of their arms and guide them towards the candles.
Both of them try and explain at the same time, and then sort of playfully bicker with each other that the Eve of Wax is a very important part of the year. There are 2 Eve of Waxes in a year. One occurs in the spring and one occurs in the fall. And it's one of the most important parts of their calendar. And it's where they all pay tribute in wax to she who waits beyond the waves.
Very interesting ritual.
They sort of smile and say, would you like to take part? We have some candles.
Of course I would.
So I'm gonna start looking around the area, the last place we heard him in, and I will perform tracking in the area.
Okay, roll tracking.
Right. Oh,
hey.
Yeah.
Non-natural 20. Okay, you basically look around the temple and you notice that to the other side of the 2 girls and Raciel, there is what looks like a very, very well covered, it's a curtain covering a door. But it seems to have been. It would almost have been difficult to spot if you hadn't rolled so high.
Interesting. Yay for high rolls. And I would like to make my way over to it without being obvious. Just slink over.
As I said, it's just off to the side of where the 2 girls are, so it would be relatively hard to sneak through.
Oh, so they would definitely see it. Huh. I kind of go over to Ness and gesture to the hidden door a little bit, and I whisper her, I will turn them away from it if I can.
Okay.
And then she go over there. It's oh, ladies, I actually have a couple of questions. Really,
so 2 ladies turn round, and so they've got their back to where the door is.
It's just come a little close. I'm really feeling this place, it's really resonating with me. I don't know, maybe I just never found a place that I just connected with on such a level, and
yeah.
how'd you how'd you decide, just how to get started with this? Was this just you're born into it? Like you joined it? And come on, like
one of
tell
them
me your
tells
story.
you that she was born here, and the other one tells you that she came here as a young girl with her father.
So you both know how to fish?
Oh yes, we were taught from a young age how to fish, and how to bait the lines, and what best lures to use.
Interesting. And you're okay with water? Like that's a thing?
Oh, we love the water. The water is where life comes from.
Man, I appreciate both of you. I really do. Water, I just can't do it. It's just not my thing. I don't know what's up with me. If I could just get over that fear.
So while you're talking, let's go with Nessa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Nessa, you gonna try and go through the door?
Yes.
Okay. So you walk up and you don't even need to roll, you can just slink through the door.
Okay.
And it leads to a long sort of passageway, and at the bottom of the passageway is a relatively open room, and in the middle of this room, lying on what seems to be a table, but stripped completely naked, is Stan.
Hey, Stan.
Completely unconscious, stripped completely naked, with all the gear lying next to him, and it seems like there's another door to the back left.
I'm going to slap the shit out of Stan to get him awake.
As you walk up to him, you can smell the stench of Rossini. It seems like they've poured a bottle down his throat.
Oh, lovely. Slap the shit out of him.
I'm suffering alcohol poisoning and you decide to slap me? Am I still unconscious?
I'll have you wake up from her just basically climbing on top of you and going...
What the fuck?
Hey, guess what?
What?
I'm on top of you.
I noticed. No fucking shit.
And you're naked.
Did you do this?
No.
Why are you hopping? Get off of me.
And I untie him.
Yep. His hands are tied together, but that's about it. So
Thanks for the concern.
So as I said, your gear is neatly folded next to you.
I'm gonna put that back on.
No, don't.
No, I am. I'm doing this. I remember anything?
As you pull your gear back on, you vaguely remember the matriarch walking down with you, and then something grabbed you, wrenched your head back, and literally held a bottle of Rossini on your throat, and rubbed your throat to make you swallow it. But you were held by something incredibly strong.
Well, that was freakish.
As you get the last of your gear on, you hear the sound of something coming. What do you do?
From which direction?
From the door to the back left. The other door leading out of the room that you've basically not come from.
I'm gonna move just to the side of the door so that when they come through, I can bash them with my axe.
Okay.
I'm going to just sit where he was tied up.
Okay.
With my daggers out.
Okay.
Or no, not my daggers. Let's do my daggers.
Okay. So after a couple of seconds, a sort of middle-aged one of the fisherwomen you recognise from earlier walks in, looks at you and says, "Who the fuck are you? I thought there was a guy in here."
Nope.
Oh well. She turns round and then clocks Stan. What do you do?
Clocks down?
As in clocks Stan, as in notices him.
I don't want to chop her head off, but can I, hit her with the flat side of my axe?
So you want to knock her out?
Yeah.
Right, roll. Yep, you club her on the side of the head. She, makes a kind of, whimpering noise and collapses to the ground.
Yeah, that'll teach you.
And I'm gonna pick her up and tie her to the thing.
Can I see if she has anything in her pockets first?
Pockets?
You check her pockets. You find a padlock key. You find a couple of fishing hooks, and you find some twine.
I'm gonna take the key.
Okay.
I want to keep the less.
I want to keep everything. It's I just want to. Yeah, no one does that to my friend.
You were just sitting on top of me and you slapped me to wake me up.
And then you literally giggled at him.
You taunted me.
I didn't taunt you. This was a very interesting experience.
And stealing's my job, all right? It's because I'm not.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna give it to you as tribute, okay?
I don't want to argue. This is stupid, so let's carry on.
Okay. At this point, you hear the two of you that are down there hear a gong. It's literally like a sort of sound, and it's the sound of like, it's obviously a gong. Nothing else sounds quite like it.
Is it coming from outside the church or further down?
From along the passage.
All right, do we want to flag down our friends upstairs? I don't want to hit a pregnant woman, but I guess I will if I have to.
No, let me do that.
Hit the pregnant woman?
I'll hit them in the head.
Maybe just, don't?
What do you want to do to them?
I don't want to do anything to them, but we need to get our party down here.
Okay, let me sneak upstairs again, and yeah, I don't feel right leaving you down here. You're coming with me, but you should stay quiet. And we can flag everyone.
Okay. You go back up the stairs, and currently they still have their back to you, but the other two girls are talking to the two pregnant women.
Oh, yes, and that's my life story. Man, real tearjerker, right? Seriously, I'm glad you guys are here to talk to me about this.
One of the women goes, "I'm sorry, I need to get out of here," and just walks out. the other one is just kind of going, but wait, there needs to be two of us here, and sort of moves after her to try and stop her.
Can I go?
Just never tell that story again. Just never.
What?
Guys, come on, guys. Hey,
What?
come here.
And then I start slinking, kind of like just slinking over.
Let's slink over.
There's no one there, right?
There's no one there, no.
I'm sorry, you guys cut out a little bit when you described it. I think all I heard was yeah, I need to. That's all I heard. I have no idea.
Just come over here.
I'm coming! And then I just come over.
All right, let's go all the way down. I want to go down that long tunnel where we heard the gong.
Okay.
Did you guys hear the gong?
No.
No.
Okay.
So
There was a gong.
Huh. Alright.
So I
believe you.
You head down the passageway, and you come to the room you were in before with the woman you've now tied to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Is she awake?
no, she's still unconscious.
Let's just keep going.
And you pass along the passage on the left, and you come to the top of what looks like a very grand staircase. And in front of you, there is what looks like an aqueduct, but it leads out to the sea. There's like a sort of bridge on the other side, and on top of the other side is this enormous gong and the matriarch in full regalia. And to the left and to the right of the aqueduct, there are about 50 women, all wearing very large black robes. And behind the women, there are these very large, circular wheels, horizontal wheels. So they're and in the sort of sections of each wheel, so it's kind of like a sort of pirate wheel, but between the spokes of the wheel there seems to be men tied to the wheel.
I
are
knew they were doing something.
stripped completely naked, and there seems to be a hole beneath the wheel for basically just sweeping anything that comes out down a hole.
Great.
Oh.
There seems to be about at least 50-60 men in this room. And the women all seem to be standing there wearing black robes and holding torches.
Can I spot the descriptive Dorian anywhere in there?
At the moment, you literally can just see, it looks like any men that have been there a long time. There's some that have grown really thick beards. There are some that have their hair's unkempt. They look literally like they're just being horribly kept, and the stench of basically shit and ritzini is incredibly strong, and you notice one or two of them struggling and getting their heads wrenched back and more ritzini poured down their throat.
Well, this explains where all the men went.
And where all the babies are coming from.
At this point, the matriarch again signals. The gong sounds one more time, and the matriarch goes, "Ladies, it is time. May the eve of wax begin." And she raises her hands up, and all the women sort of raise the torch in front of them, and there is a call and response. The matriarch starts with, "May the mother bless you," and all the women reply with, and bless us all. We raise our faces to hers, that she may look upon our hearts. We praise her name, we bless her name forever. And then the matriarch clasps her hands in front of her and says, On this night, great mother who waits beyond the waves, we petition you with humble yet hopeful hearts. We bring forth these gifts, offered by your daughters on the shore. Grant us peace, guard and govern us. Bless us with your glory, that we might be faithful and bring forth your image to the land. Hold within your hands those who have passed beyond the seas, and they may greet us as we greet the water on our final days, with shining eyes and open arms. We pray you accept these humble offerings of thanks. Guide our days in peace and prosperity, and protect us from the great cold one who seeks to taint your daughters and drag them down to the deep below, far from your loving gaze. And count us among your chosen. Bless these meager gifts, approve them, cleanse them, as we return their spirits to the sea. Scorn not your lesser sect, but turn your kindly countenance upon them, and grant that they may able to accept your power, to walk by your side on the day you rise to walk upon our shore. And everyone at this point goes, To the mother we pray, to the mother we come, to the mother they fall. And at this point, one of the men is unlashed from the wheel. He's dragged, literally he's so drunk he can barely stand, dragged in front of the matriarch, sat on his knees. He's completely naked, and the matriarch looks him in the eyes, holds her hands in front of herself in a sort of prayer position, and says, To the mother we pray. And as everyone in the congregation says, To the mother they fall, she kicks him in the chest into the pool.
I fucking knew it!
I didn't say that very loud, but I hiss it. I whisper.
And as she does this, she opens her arms and says, Ladies, it is time. Those you have taken, take them now. And one by one the women walk up, take one or two of the men off the wheel, drag them to the edge of the pit, and again repeat, To the mother we pray, to the mother they fall, and kick the men into the pit. I say the pit, it's like an aqueduct full of water, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And as the men get less and less and less, the water begins to bubble and steam, and the matriarch raises her hands and says, We take this blessing, and we give this. To the mother we pray, to the mother we come, to the mother they fall. And as she says that one final time, this thing begins to rise from the water. It looks like a sort of weird greyish head. It's about normal human size, but as it comes further up you notice it's quite distorted in features. The eyes are white and they seem to shoot back suddenly, revealing this very dark eyes with like very bulbous lips and lots of sharp teeth. And as it rises up, it seems to be humanoid in general shape, and it seems to be basically some form of fishman. And then another, and another, and another, and they rise out of this aqueduct and begin walking towards the women. And at this point the matriarch claps her hands and says, Ladies, it is time. And all the women disrobe, revealing themselves to be completely naked. And then, in the sort of disgusting way possible, you see fishmen begin to copulate with the women of Eisenport.
No.
Okay, I did not see that getting ready to happen.
So they get turned to fishmen? What?
Is this
So
where
it was
mermaids
like a-
come from?
It was like a combination of all our ideas in one terrible full thing that I wish we hadn't thought, but here we are.
So,
Started from the bottom, and now we're still here. So,
as you're watching, the matriarch's arms are outstretched, and literally the room stinks of basically shit, rizzini, and, well, fishmen and sex. What are you going to do?
Run away.
Can someone shoot the matriarch? Is there an archer that could get her from here?
I have a crossbow.
Yeah. No, that's not gonna do it. I have a bow.
No.
What? How is a crossbow not gonna be as effective as a bow?
It's a projectile. It's like the closest you can get to like a gun at this point.
Yeah.
A crossbow is more for...
It's a ranged weapon.
It's actually not that ranged.
Have you used a crossbow before?
Crossbows are not too bad, but they're shorter distance than a bow.
Okay.
Okay.
So crossbow is probably, you're maybe looking at about maybe 15-20 meters for accuracy for a crossbow, whereas a bow itself could maybe be 20 to 35.
I have a bow.
Can we hit her from here?
Yeah.
You can try to hit her from there, yes. You shoot the bow. The arrow sunks into her chest. She drops to her knees and she says, "Ladies, my time has come. I come to meet you, mother." And she falls into the aqueduct.
Oh, sweet boobs.
That was immediate. We didn't really find out.
At this point, a couple of the fishmen who are, let's say, have done copulating, have picked up what seems to be very large tridents and are looking around to see what happened to the matriarch.
I think it's time to look.
Can we duck behind something or back into a doorway so that we're harder to see?
You're basically standing at the edge of a corridor at the top of some stairs.
Cool.
So,
I'm gonna get my axe out.
Crossbow.
so
My daggers.
there's about 50, 60 of these fishmen armed with tridents.
Not great odds.
Not really, no.
We should leave.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Are you going to run along behind you, or are you going to walk quietly?
Quietly.
Quietly, because it doesn't look like they spotted us yet.
Okay.
And then run once they do.
Mm-hmm.
So you manage to walk back along. You come back to the door in the temple, and you push it open to see the two sort of pregnant women from before who sort of look at you and blink as in like, "How did you get in there? What do you do?"
We got lost, honey, but we need to go.
I just
Grab
pushed
them
them.
and push them.
I just pushed them.
off
I don't
the
have time
edge.
for this. It's like you literally have a spawn of a fish man in you. I don't have time for this. So I just
Okay,
like I've
so-
seen some shit. That's how I was just like no.
So you run out of the temple. You basically look to your left and you see down by Andrew's cart, you notice that your cart that you took up here is beginning to load up to leave. What do you do?
Shout at him, "Start the car! Get it!" I mean, sorry.
Start the car! Start the car!
Start the car!
Run to catch up with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you run down to the cart, you look at the very perplexed coach driver, who's just like, "What? Alright, okay, well, this is the last of the loot we have to take back down to the city." And you look at it and it seems to be like bags and bags of these like weapons and armor and jewels and whatnot. It seems like basically the gear they've got off all the men.
Cool.
So
Well,
that's all in the back of the cart. Are you just gonna bundle on and just ride it straight out of there?
Yeah, we're not doing this shit.
Okay, so you bundle into the cart, you obviously flee to the south, and eventually you come back to the inn where the merchant was, and he goes, "So, did you find my son?"
unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, what became of him?
There was some sort of ritual
Cult?
fish, and he was
Fish cult.
sacrificed to their god.
Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Was it painful? Did he suffer?
No.
No,
He
I
looked
think
like he had fun.
Yeah, yep.
He had fun. Being killed, he had fun. What is this?
So, I don't think he felt dying. He was very heavily medicated, so anything that happened to him happened pretty peacefully.
Oh, I see. Oh.
Sorry.
I wish we could have
to
brought
know.
you better news, but
I guess it's about as much news as I expected.
now you know for sure.
He sort of opens his small bag with him and he gives you the rest of your gold to each of you. Well, thank you. Thank you for at least giving me peace in this time.
I wish we could have given you better news.
I wish we could have.
And that, I think, is the end of the one-shot. So...
Hooray! We should have destroyed the town.
We should have. We should have just got torches and just set it ablaze and just burn the shit to the ground.
Burn everything.
I had torches.
I'm so used to Call of Cthulhu where you just have to run, because that stuff is way bigger than you are.
So, before we stop the recording, the floor is yours. Please plug your podcast as much as you want, anything you've got coming up, anything you'd like people to know, where they can find you, and, yep, go nuts.
Sure, so we're the Lovely Craftians. We're the Call of Cthulhu all-female Chicago-based podcast. You can find us at LovelyCraftiansPodcast.com. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. There are a few others. And we're on Patreon. We have some Halloween one-shots planned. We have kind of a get-to-know-you Halloween special that we are also planning to do next month, where it's just kind of a chit-chat, get to know us and our like IRL weird experiences, where we had to basically question our own sanity. So that's going to be fun. And not to spoil it, but we're kind of nearing the end of our major story arc, and I think it's going to be a good one. Yeah, you guys only have a couple more big adventures before you hit the finale, so we're coming up on it.
This should go live around the 4th of October, so if there's anything roughly around this time you've got planned, please, again, plug it.
We'll be in the middle of a story arc at that point, but I think the week after that, on the 12th, we might have something. I can't guarantee anything at this point, but we've got some stuff in the works.
No problem. So, any final plugs, anything you'd like to say, thank, do anything like that, please go.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Much.
This was way fun.
No
fantastic.
Problem.
And with that, dearest friends, time has run out for our tale with our group of adventurers. We hope you'll join us in taking the time to support those that dare to traverse our dungeons, and maybe even listen to their own bard's tales, for what is a good story if not shared with as many folk as can be sang to? As for ourselves, you can follow the many tales of Penance RPG through both our Twitter or Facebook at Penance RPG. If you would like to support us in our endeavours, we have both a Patreon at patreon.com/PenanceRPG and Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/PenanceRPG. All support, however small it may seem, is gratefully received and will assist us in bringing future projects to your ears.
And as the evil that was in the north returns to legend, and as another group are left changed forever, we only have this to say. Good night out there, whatever you are.